All right. Welcome back here to Damon Bruce. Plus, we are brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. Today's live stream also being powered by BetUS as well. As always, we love our good friends at the Dubliner and West Portal, and we'll be telling you about our sponsors throughout our final live stream watch party of the season. So we had been going live at about the 2-minute warning all last year. Most of the first half of this year, we would go live at the 2-minute warning. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, why not do like live watch parties? So we started doing that several weeks ago, and they've been a hit. Thank you so much for keeping on coming back. If today's your first day checking us out, welcome. It's great to have you here. Please hit like and subscribe. And I'm going to encourage everyone right now to lean into that like button. That means the show is going to get pushed out across the YouTube algorithm. Also, we've got our friends Paul McCaffrey and Tony Ryan joining us a little bit later on today as our second quarter guests here. We've been having second quarter guests for our watch party, and sometimes they stick around a lot longer than the second quarter. So Paulie Mac, Paul McCaffrey coming on by, and Creative Tony are scheduled to drop on by this afternoon while we watch a game that, let's be honest, the 49ers really don't want to win. If they lose this game, they've got the 11th pick in the draft. If they don't lose this game, they'll have something worse than the 11th pick in the draft. Not much worse. It's not going to like fall into the 20s or anything like that. But the 49ers are in a unique position today, where you want to go out and you want to play good football. You don't want to embarrass yourself. You want to, do everything you can to maintain a true level of competition in an NFL game. You want to protect yourself at all times, but you really don't want to win today. So it's a weird area, and let's be totally honest, this has been one of the weirdest, single most joyless seasons of football I've ever covered around the 49ers. You can say it's the big crash after a Super Bowl appearance in just the year before. It's all the moving parts in a season that never quite came together. It has been a massive headache all year long around the San Francisco 49ers. And now it's time to see what happens in the final game of the year. A couple of news and notes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not only in the playoffs, they are division champions. And along with being division champions, Mike Evans has tied Jerry Rice for 11 consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards receiving. So there was an awful lot of celebration at the end of that game. Not only did they win and they're in, but Mike Evans did something that is, quite unique. Every time you're in a same sentence as Jerry Rice, you've done something very well and impressive. Also, this triggers bonuses and incentives. So Josh Dobbs is starting today. By the way, Trey Lance started today for the Dallas Cowboys, just as we see what's going around the NFL. Brock Purdy is on the sideline with an elbow that was injured for no real reason at all last week in a meaningless game. So here we are. We sort of know what the deal is. And we'll also let you know that there's a little money out there on the table today. The game within the game for the 49ers and Cardinals. 49ers are going to getting the ball first here in Arizona today. Leonard Floyd has already earned a $500,000 bonus for 8 sacks on the season. He's got 8.5. If he gets 1.5 sacks today, he triggers another $500,000 incentive bonus. If he were to go bonkers and get to 12 sacks today, if he were to have 3.5 sacks today, that'll trigger a $2 million bonus for Leonard Floyd. So he's going to be playing frisky, you would imagine, as Josh Dobbs gets this afternoon rolling with a completion to Jawan Jennings, and we are officially underway in Arizona. Another interesting wrinkle, the game within the game, the incentive within the game today is that Kyler Murray has 550 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. If he gets to 600 yards and a 6th rushing touchdown, so 50 rushing yards and a touchdown today, he'll trigger a $750,000 bonus in his contract. So Kyler Murray probably wants to do a little bit of running around today. Hey, Ricky Pearsall. Let's see if Ricky Pearsall can follow up his best game as a pro with another good game today. And in his first target, he just successfully caught a ball as he was falling down. He had to adjust to it. Dobbs didn't exactly hit him in stride, but Pearsall made the catch. He came back to it and it's a first down for the 49ers. So again, I see an awful lot of familiar names in here. It is good. D Bourbon Bruce, not today. There is no liquor today. This is going to be a dry show today. I'm not drinking. It's the end of a long Christmas break. The kids are going back to school. I've had plenty of cocktails over the last couple of weeks. We finished over a bottle of a half of whiskey just doing these live streams together. So today we're just doing a little water. Just going to keep it calm today. Nobody's going to the postseason. Nobody wants to get hurt today, so we're keeping it calm. But it is really good to see you. Damon, why is Brock Purdy so criticized? That's a good question. It's because a lot of people, and this includes people who cover the team, really don't know what they're looking at or can't accept the situation is better than it's been in a really long time. And even though it ain't perfect, it's still pretty damn good. Quarterbacks are always going to be criticized. By the way, Isaac Guerendo is down and he looks hurt. Again, you wouldn't want to get anybody hurt today who is going to be a part of week one's plan next season. I think Isaac Guerendo is a big part of that plan. So if he is hurt here, that would be not good. And again, he looked hurt, like face down on the floor, sort of writhing in pain level hurt, not just a little gimpy. So we will take a look at that. Someone's going a little vitamin water. Yeah, smart today. Today is a day of replenishing, rehydrating, and getting back to normal shows as we get into next week. And again, as we start talking about what the rest of this football season is going to look like, well, football season is over, which means the off season officially begins tomorrow. Looking what the 49ers are going to do in their draft, I think is going to be fascinating. What they do free agent wise, there has to be big turnover. This is a huge offseason for the 49ers, for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. This is did you guys get fired 2 years from now, or are you guys still in charge 2 years from now? This offseason will be the offseason that I think really reveals that. As always, we are thrilled to have super chats come on in. Again, no bottle pulls for super chats today, but we do have a stated goal of 50. And Danny Golding, the first man in, and he's not even at home. He is at the game today. Danny from Arizona, thank you very much for the super, Danny, and have a great game today. No more supers from you. You're going to need all the money you need to buy the hot dogs and the beers and whatever you need at the game today. So thank you, my friend, for the first super of the day. Really, really do appreciate it. Again, it's been a miserable freaking season. There's just no other way around it. It has been a painful, painful year for the San Francisco 49ers. And today, it's just been a painful day of football. I mean, you got backups and bad games. And, I know that we now have 17-game regular seasons. Folks, we didn't need them. We just have them. It's extra inventory for networks to sell. It's an extra game for streaming services to buy. But what it really does is bake in a level of doesn't matter to use games like preseason games in the postseason. Isaac Guerendo's getting carted off the field, by the way. He got rolled up on, and that is not good. So Isaac Guerendo, good news, rarely travels by cart in the NFL. The good news is there's no air cast on his leg, so I guess that's what he's got going for him. Yeah, have fun at the game, Danny, indeed. Happy Sunday, Bruce. P.S. hit up Sam's, and it was great. Matthew, I'm glad you went to Sam's Chowder House, who sponsors Wake Up with yours truly and Larry Krueger. It is fantastic. It really is, and I'm glad you made it to Sam's, and thank you so much for supporting the sponsors who support me. Jorge Luis Sotelo says, my wife, a diehard Bears fan, is over the moon with that Bears win. I mean, nobody beats the Chicago Bears a dozen times in a row. Nobody. Yes, I'm glad they beat the Green Bay Packers. Hooray. Way to do it when your season's over and Jordan Love's not playing and everyone's been fired and an entire year's been wasted. Great. But that's where Bears fans are. Just reveling in misery. Oh, you know what? a 51-yarder for Jake Moody, and he actually hit it. So the 49ers offense stalls, but Jake Moody puts one through the uprights. So that's the one he puts through the uprights every game. The misses will be coming up a little bit later, I'm guessing, in this game as well. By the way, I'm a tick or two behind on my DirecTV, so pardon me there. Again, you hit up Sam's. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that. We got MKG, leave Moody, Sorensen, and Schneider all in Arizona. Well, look, Moody can get back on the plane if he kicks his field goals. He can get on the airplane. I don't know if he's going to be back on the team next year, but he can get an airplane ride home. Let's see what Sorensen and Snyder do today. Snyder, that guy should have been left out of the picture a long time ago. Sorensen is a work in progress. You know, I'd like to see him dial up more effective blitzes than he has in the year. This isn't a team that is built to blitz an awful lot. They're not a team that relies on a blitz an awful lot. Sorensen in year one, again, it's been equal parts unimpressive and not as bad as it actually looks, all wrapped up into one. How about this? I think I'm all done arguing with an awful lot of conviction that everybody has to come back, that nobody should be going, that, I mean, like, you can do whatever you want. Like, even if you wanted to walk away from Kyle Shanahan, I mean, you better have a really good backup plan. But if that happened, to me, it wouldn't be the end of 49ers football as we know it. Tread carefully with big decisions. Tread carefully with big decisions right here at this time. And I think the 49ers know that, and that's why you're not going to get that big death rattle. By the way, we are at 12:47. We are underway. Kyler back throwing, and we got the Cardinals' first drive underway here this afternoon. But MKG, thank you very much. Joe Sullivan, just wanted to say thank you, DB, for the content this year. Wake Up, the 11 a.m. show, the watch parties have made this season way better. Well, thank you very much. Meeting you made this season way better, Joe. Thank you for being so generous at Plus Mania, being such a good guy to meet. Thanks for stuffing the ganja jar so full that it is still brimming. It's been a real pleasure. It really has been. I mean, when I say that this season hasn't been any fun, it hasn't been any fun from the 49ers point of view. I've been having a really good time hanging out with you guys here. It's very cool. It's something that is above and beyond the connection that I was able to make over all the years on radio. So this is a cool and special place. And I thank you all for being here. And again, hit like and subscribe. Already got over 150 people in the room, and we're just underway in a game that we all know is meaningless. So thanks for coming on back to hang out. I really, really do appreciate it. Let's see what else we got in terms of supers coming on in here early. We got Wesley. 16 extra games over 4 years. We will get a chance to rest and reload. Fix the offensive line this offseason. Get a kicker. We can win close games. And let me tell you, you know what you're also going to have, Wesley? You're going to have a little bit of that way too much football off these guys' bodies. I agree with you there. A season of not playing postseason football will do some of these guys very, very good. A last place schedule is the reason right now the 49ers are going to be in the playoffs next year. They're going to have the benefit of a last place schedule, and they will do well against that. There's no doubt in my mind. Get that draft right, fix the offensive and defensive line, enjoy the last place schedule, and we'll see you all back here next year. 49ers ain't done. White flag, please. Yeah, Chef A. Yeah, we just want to kind of all get the hell out of here. If this game could end as fast as possible with the 49ers losing 7-3, that'd be super. No complaints from me. Ooh, Fred Warner down around Kyler Murray's ankles there on a blitz on 3rd and 6. That's going to bring up 4th down. And the 49ers defense is going to get off the field early here in Arizona. Barry Ford. Last game. Love for the jar. You watched Trey Lance today. Barry, thank you so very much. By the way, there's not a lot of guys who are in here where I can say like, oh, I can show you what Barry looks like. But Barry was modeling the Plus mug that he picked up before the holidays. Thank you so much to Barry for modeling the Plus mug right there, along with the very aggressive Niner medallion and chain. Thank you so very, very much. We got a punt away, a fair catch by Jacob Cowing, and nothing has gone catastrophically wrong with 49ers special teams yet this day. So thank you very much, Barry. Thanks for the love to you and Mary in Memphis. Very, very much appreciate you guys. Really, really do. Let's see what else we got. Oh, my God. It's my mother-in-law, Liz. Liz, you've officially given this holiday season underneath the Christmas tree. We're not going to have to buy T-shirts for either boy for the better part of 3 years. Thank you so much, Liz. The mother-in-law stuff in the ganja jar. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we're at our first commercial break here in this game, so let me just remind all of you, we want today's game to go as quickly as possible. We want to get to the second quarter as quickly as possible because that's when our good friends Paul McCaffrey and Tony Ryan are going to be joining us here on the Plus as our second quarter guest today. We need to let you know that my man Ike has a delicious sandwich at one of his restaurants for you right now, and believe me, whatever you want, he's got it. Go ahead, go online, check out his menus, and if there's an Ike's near you and you order by now, you will be eating by the time that third quarter comes around. You'll get it maybe even by halftime. Hopefully this game won't trickle out. It'll move quickly. But if you order your Ike's now, you could have it by halftime. Again, you sign up for that Love Rewards program. You get a free sandwich when you sign up. And I hope you're all in the Ike's delivery area. And I can tell you right now, the 49ers will not be around the Super Bowl this year, but you could be. I tell you, my man Ike was just in New Orleans opening his first restaurant in New Orleans. He was right in the French Quarter about an hour before that tragedy struck over the weekend. So I'm glad that he is okay. What a sad story that was. New Orleans is such a great town. It's an incredible town, and it's a great place to have a huge football game. And right now, if you sign up for that Ike's Love Rewards app, you will be signed up to go to New Orleans, a trip for two, tickets to the game, accommodations, airfare. Check out my man Ike. He's got something for you right now. And our good friends over at BetUS. Thanks so much to BetUS for sponsoring the shows and the live streams throughout the year. Without BetUS, things wouldn't be as easy to get done around here. So thanks very much. And when you go to BetUS, go to YouTube 150 and use that as your promo code to save 150% on your sign-up deposit when you get on signed up over at BetUS. We are underway, and a little first down over the middle to Kyle Juszczyk, who, as far as I'm concerned, has to be playing his final game with the San Francisco 49ers today. When you talk about who's important, who's out, who's in, knee and ankle, is officially ruled Isaac Guerendo out the rest of the game with a knee and ankle injury. So again, an important piece going into next year, has been hurt in a totally meaningless game. And I tell that to you as George Kittle goes into motion. George Kittle should not be in this game in any way, shape, or form. And if he gets hurt today, as far as I'm concerned, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch can both be shot straight into the sun. I wouldn't have George Kittle play today at all. I mean, he's way too important to next year. Way too important to get hurt in a meaningless game today. Oh, but Damon, he's a great leader. He was a warrior. He wants to go. Yeah, okay. I remember hearing some of that from my JV high school football coach too. This isn't JV high school football. This is a billion-dollar business. And if you don't treat players like massive investments, you're running your billion-dollar business inappropriately. This isn't just a football game. This is a billion-dollar business. So I wouldn't want any precious assets that I need to have success in the next season damaged today in a completely meaningless game. Everyone understands you don't play your starters in preseason games because they're meaningless. Why do people not understand that when the season is over? I don't get it. And people was like, well, we don't tank. This isn't tanking. This is admitting the situation that you're actually in. This isn't tanking. The 49ers didn't begin the year with an expectation of more failure today will lead us to greater success in the future. They began this year thinking, we're going to be something special this year. And then quickly it was revealed, you guys aren't special at all. They played out the string. They are literally playing out the string right here. Again, George Kittle, nice reception. Hey, diddle diddle, right down the middle. He's over 1,000 yards. There's no reason for him to play another down today. Josh Dobbs has got a little nice, good mojo going here on this drive. He's found Kittle. He's found Juszczyk. He just found Juwan Jennings. Josh Dobbs off to a pretty nice start to this game today. He's playing behind that makeshift offensive line. Damon, Kyle needs you on the sideline. I would be the great, don't do that, coach. Don't do that. Hey, we're not going to play Jacob Cowing from scrimmage today, not once. Don't do that. Hey, you know what? We're not going to find out what Patrick Abinaconda looks like as a running back. Oh, you know what? Don't do that. Like, I want to be a common sense coach. Patrick Taylor Jr. is now going to be your primary running back for the remainder of this game. Waffle House night shift manager. Hold on. All right, flag on the play. No such thing as meaningless games, Damon. Everyone, from players to coaches, are evaluated with every single live snap. They look at design, execution, et cetera, et cetera. These live snaps are invaluable. Incorrect. Okay. That is just some candy ass thinking right there. George Kittle needs no snaps today. George Kittle will learn nothing about the sport of football. He will create zero chemistry out there with any of his teammates playing in this meaningless game today. All those snaps you're talking about are important for backups, are important for unproven players. Hey, Jacob Cowing just caught a ball from the line of scrimmage. Of course, there was an ineligible man downfield, so that doesn't count. But Jacob Cowing needs to be playing from. It's a meaningful game for him. It's a meaningful game for a guy like Tanner Mordecai. I would have played Tanner Mordecai today and find out whether or not he can actually play football in this league. Like, that would be a meaningful thing to find out today. So, I understand you watched Hard Knocks and you heard the segment where everyone talks about how massively important everything is at all times. Yeah, that's bullshit. Okay, that's bullshit. This is not a meaningful game for Nick Bosa. Other than what? With a half a sack, he can get 10 sacks 4 seasons in a row. Big deal. Big deal. That to me doesn't matter. What matters, the only thing that matters, and I've been told this by you 49er fans, that the only thing that matters is winning a Super Bowl. Today's game will not get you closer to winning a Super Bowl. Today's game can only further remove your chances of winning a Super Bowl by suffering an injury to Nick Bosa, to Fred Warner, to George Kittle, to Dominic Pooney, to somebody who is going to be involved deeply in next year's game plan. Diamador Lenore shouldn't be playing today. Malik Mustafa, if you get him off the field, do it. Obviously, it's not like you got to back up for every position, but you need to make good choices. Getting somebody hurt in a meaningless game cannot be described as a good choice. Not to me, anyways. Pooney needs reps. I mean, look, he has hit a rookie wall. I think he needs, sure, most guards play a game without getting hurt. Let's hope that happens. Look, Waffle House, sorry, but disagree. You need to evaluate your coaches and what they can do with a player who will be here next year. Kyle's coming back. John Lynch is coming back. Sorensen's coming back. We hope the special teams coordinator is not, but there's no more evaluations to be done. They're coming back. There isn't as much in flux here as you think. There really isn't. Go ahead and watch Nick Bosa tear his Achilles today, and then tell me about how every snap matters. It would be a disaster if something like that were to happen. So to me, I would prevent something like that from happening by not even letting it happen. You take the helmet from the player. Player can't play without his helmet. It's in the rules. So here we are, 6:27, 26, 25, 6:24, 6:23 on the clock. Snap. Dobbs drops back, fires. Dobbs has got a little passing game mojo going early on here. Again, Jacob Cowing was out in a pattern. I like to see that. That is good for ball. You know, I would agree with this. Week 18 is not the time to be evaluating. Exactly. What have you been doing the last 4 months if you need a week 18 evaluation against a familiar division opponent? Not an awful lot of evaluation is happening today. This is just about surviving. And again, for all of those who are saying a week 18 is coming soon, why? You know, I mean, too much football is a real thing. And too much football is, I believe, the level of football that we're looking at right now. You got too many Thursday night games. You got too little rest time in between games. You got too many marquee matchups being exploited in the name of player safety not mattering at all. You have turned the final week of the year into a preseason game for, 70% of the teams that'll be playing. It's just, I understand it's good for business because it's selling inventory, but it's not good football. Josh Dobbs, he just got sacked. That wasn't very good football. Looked like Nick Zakelj gave that one up. No, excuse me, that's not Zakelj. Man, it was who is that guy? Number 75. You just signed him a couple weeks ago. I don't even care anymore. That's where we are. That's where we are in the season. I don't know who that guy is. I don't care. I don't need to know who he is. He won't be on the team next year. That's how much this one matters today. Cardinals defense, 12 players with 2 or more sacks. It's a weird stat. Am I supposed to be impressed by that? So it sounds like the entire team isn't particularly good at it. I know they're trying to sell me versatility there, but it doesn't sound like anyone's really good at their job. 4th and 15, and here comes everybody's favorite kicker, Jake Moody, come trotting on out there. Let's see what Jake Moody's got, baby. Let's see what Jake Moody's got. What's he looking at? Another 50-yarder here? 47-yard attempt. What do you got, Jake Moody? Snap is away. Ball is down. And it is no good. I told you, Jake Moody made his field goal and now needs to miss at least 2. Jake Moody from 47 yards. No good. Hey, great. He's the perfect kicker today. I want Jake to miss every field goal that they ask him to hit for the rest of this game today. That's your man, Jake. Good God. Good God. Jared, 12 players with 2 or more sacks means they have a lot of depth on their roster, Damon Bruce. Jared, don't for a minute think you know more about this than I do. Some of this will be some snide commentary along the way. I can also tell you I'm also not impressed by that stat at all. I can't believe Jake Moody just missed another field goal. Actually, excuse me. What I meant to say of course, Jake Moody just missed another field goal. He's terrible. He is the most in his own head guy on this football team. And it's sad to watch, but it's a gots to go situation. I don't think that they can bring him back. I just do not think that they can bring him back. Jake Moody living his best life. Hey, man, he knows he wants that 11th overall pick. He wants that 11th overall. Oh, man, oh, man. Again, thanks for being here. Thank you so much. The joyless season is about to end. Thank you for choosing to end it here with me today on this live stream. We are powered by BetUS. And again, use promo code YouTube150 because it's not just a football site, by the way. It's all your sports, all your NBA, all your hockey, all the coming baseball season. You can find it all over on BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150 when you sign up for a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. My man Ike has a delicious sandwich for you. Order a Damon Bruce. This is what I look like as a sandwich. Don't I look delicious? Personally, I don't get mine on Dutch Crunch. I like mine on a soft roll. I keep your tomatoes. I don't like wet on my sandwich. I will do lettuce. I will do onions. I will do jalapenos. I will do pickles. Of course, onion rings, cheese, and steak. Yes, that's the way we do it. And by the way, wash it all down with a perfectly poured Guinness at the Dubliner West Portal. Love you guys at the Dubliner. Hopefully you got a great crowd in there today of Niners fans who are ready to drink their cares away because this year has not gone the way you wanted it to. All right, so we got the Arizona Cardinals with their second drive of the day. They'll begin with a handoff right up the middle that doesn't go very, very far. And here we are. Here we are. Look at this. Weeks 11 through 17, the 49ers have gone 1-6. The Niners are 1-6 since Nick Bosa came out with his MAGA hat. There you go. 1-6 since that moment. Correlation, causation, that's for you to decide, I guess. I will say this, that hat, as much as I don't like it, didn't throw an interception, hasn't missed a tackle all year. So it's probably more on the 49ers. Joe Schmo. Trey played today. He did. Trey Lance went out there and played. And I believe the Dallas Cowboys lost today, didn't they? I think he had a pretty good game. He didn't throw for a touchdown or an interception the last time I looked at Trey Lance here. Let me check out this box score. What did Trey Lance do today? Trey Lance was 20 of 34 for 244 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. And Cowboys lose. It's a all things considered, a really good game, though, out of Trey Lance. Good for him. Good for him. Again, no one's rooting against Trey Lance. I just don't think he's much of an NFL player or will get an opportunity to reveal that he might be one. He's in a tough situation. Again, situations dictate careers, man. Larry says, no, excuse me. Cray says, I would definitely trade Bosa if possible. Well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to need to do some unbelievable drafting across your defensive line before you trade Nick Bosa, because this team is pass rushless without Nick Bosa. I understand what you're saying. His production feels like it's gone down. The price for him doesn't feel like you're getting quite what you paid for. But without Nick Bosa, my God, I don't even know what this defense looks like. So I would tread very carefully there as well. Damon, has your opinion changed on Samuel? On Debo? I don't think my opinion has changed. I think he's back on the team next year as a glorified gadget guy. I think he's got a role to play on this team as a glorified gadget guy. What he cannot be is your X or Y wide receiver because he's not good enough to be that. So I got skipping happy. Oh, what do you know? A fake punt has caught the 49ers special teams totally off guard. Special teams, mwah. Extend Brian Schneider. What a bang-up job he has done. What a bang-up job Brian Snyder's done. This is absolutely one of the most prepared on special teams, not making mistakes every time I looked like a unit I've seen in football. Unbelievable. Extend everybody, including the kicker. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All righty. See, now we don't know this. Isaac Guerrero out for 2025. Don't go putting red alerts on that shit like you're breaking news here, wealthy mind. Stop it. Stop it. Fire Schneider. Oh, no. How could you fire someone who's so good at what they do? Keep him around. Oh, man. Kyle and company gave up 3 first-rounders for Trey Lance. Yeah, when you're asking where your talent is, when you're asking what happened to this team's offensive line and defensive line, that Trey Lance transaction wasn't a good one. 3rd and 8 for Kyler. Kyler under a little pressure by the 49ers defense. He's just got to throw it away. Again, was he out of the tackle box? That should even be intentional grounding. He threw it up to nobody. I guess they're going to say he was still inside the tackle box. Again, that's how I feel about this freaking game. Yawn. Special teams, just once again shooting the team in the crotch. It's the only place special teams knows how to aim. He just aims for the crotch. 51-yard field goal attempt by most NFL kickers is just easy to do right down the middle, and it's like that in Arizona. And Arizona is now tied with the 49ers 3 apiece in the final minute of the first quarter, which means Paul McCaffrey and Tony Ryan should be joining us in just a little bit. Obviously, you know Paulie Mac from all of those years on KNBR. Tony Ryan, anytime you ever heard a commercial on KNBR, he produced it. Any promo you ever heard, any open you ever heard, that's the guy who produced it. The two of them are going to be joining us in just a little bit. We'll be hanging out with them in an otherwise unwatchable, unlovable, what are we all doing? We should be outdoors with our families football game. But we got to suffer through the whole thing. I mean, isn't that really what determines who's good in sports in terms of, you know, the fans that you appreciate and the content creators that you appreciate and the journalists that you appreciate? Who's going to stick with it as things get awful? That's really where we separate the men from the boys. Well, we're still here, and it's a pleasure to have you here. And hit like and subscribe. We've got nearly 250 people in here with only 100 likes. We got to do better than that, my good friends. If half of you just reached in and hit that like button right now, we would get to 200 likes, just like that. Just like that. So get aggressive with that like button. It helps YouTube push this show out throughout the algorithm. So the more you hit it, the better we all get to do together. Again, thanks to everyone for the super chats, for watching all season long. It's meant an awful lot. It really, really has. Thank you. I wish the year had gone better. You know, we were promised something much more significant than we actually got by this 49ers team. And when you talk about what this offseason is going to look like, what I hope, you know, there's only so much you can control. You want to have good control of the NFL draft, but the pick is the truth is that every pick is a crapshoot until that player proves worthy of being a good NFL player. You don't know what it's going to look like until you see it. So, getting on anyone for blowing a draft pick, when you blow enough of them, it catches up with you. But any one draft pick can be blown at any round. Number one pick in the draft, last pick in the draft, and any single pick in between. Any one of those could go right or wrong at any given time. That's a variable that you really can't control. The one thing that I really hope that the 49ers do have control over is the way that they negotiate with their own players, contract extensions, free agents, extensions, things like that. Quit twiddling thumbs. Quit trying to do it as late in the game, as late in training camp as possible. How many times did you hear about the Brandon Ayuk contract, the Trent Williams contract, and, George Kittle would be sitting on, Rich Eisen's show saying, look, the 49ers, they just do business slowly. It's how they do business. It's who they are. Be better than that. Be different than that. I don't think that that's serving you well anymore. I really don't. So I hope that the 49ers will have a greater sense of urgency putting a team together. And that is an interception by Josh Dobbs, if that weren't also a flag for pass interference, which I believe it is. That's got to be pass interference on Arizona. That's just got to be. Show me the replay. Show me the replay. Murphy Bunting is grabbing and holding, and what are they going to say? He was within 5 yards, maybe? Did he push Juwan a little bit? Yeah. I mean, that to me looks like pass interference. I gotta see where the wrestling match kind of started. Are they giving that to Arizona? I mean, it could kind of go either way. If you're allowed contact within that 5 yards, where was Jennings in that motion? Yeah, it's Arizona ball. Again, good. Go Arizona. Go Cardinals. Win the game. Rob Iman says, I feel that Purdy extension could be a battle of Kyle against Parag this offseason. Again, the Purdy extension, no matter how it's done behind closed doors, is going to be met with so much toxicity in the media that if there's any internal fighting about Purdy's contract that gets out, just forget it. I mean, it'd be like throwing a Molotov cocktail just right into how everybody feels about everything. So I agree with you. Kyle and Parag, they better get on the same page, and they all better get their shit together. I agree with you, Rob. That cannot be a tripping point. That is going to have so many people in their feelings anyways, that attaching further emotion to it would be a really bad idea and bad for business for the 49ers, if you ask me. Damon Geppetto. Damon, you almost spelt that Damon correctly. Someone in your life threw an extra E in there that you didn't need. But Damon Geppetto says people like to forget about Cap, but the reaching on quarterback started after he was blacklisted. Jimmy G, Trey Lance. Hey, for a minute there, Jimmy wasn't a reach. Jimmy was the right guy. Then Jimmy just didn't do his homework. Trey Lance was the reach, obviously. But yeah, it would have been an incredible world had just Colin Kaepernick, not missed those fades to Crabtree in the Super Bowl, wins a title, gets to stay. No one ever takes a knee. Who knows what the world of 49ers football would have looked like with all of that changing. Who knows what that would have looked like? I can tell you that when it comes to doing these shows, it's been such a pleasure to hang out and do what started originally as a show that we did coming in at the 2-minute warning of games. Thought we would beat everybody to the post-game punch by coming in live at the 2-minute warning. And then we decided, let's just do media watch parties. And that is powered by BetUS. And again, use promo code YouTube150 when you sign up over at BetUS. Get 150% off that first deposit up to $2,000. I want you to go ahead and eat at Ike's. Ike's is absolutely delicious. The sandwich you need is a sandwich that he has for you. And if you don't live around an Ike's, call a senator, call a congressperson, call the cops. You need an Ike's in your neighborhood to have a great neighborhood. Trust me, you will soon. And if you want to go to the best neighborhood bar, sports bar, Irish bar, all in San Francisco, in one of the strongest neighborhoods, West Portal, you will ever find, the Dubliner West Portal. Thanks to them for pouring a perfect Guinness, being an incredible sponsor. Couldn't do it without sponsors. Couldn't have success on YouTube with a lot of help from you, the viewers, by hitting like and subscribe. And what I really want you to do is start hitting like and subscribe to my man, Paulie Mac, and my Tony Ryan's pages. And we got the three of us together. And there's a reason why these ugly mugs were in radio for so long. Guys, how are you?
Hey, D. Bruce, what is happening, brother? Great to be a guest on the Damon Bruce channel, the Damon Bruce Show. Little Niner watch party on Sunday. Look at Creative Tony with his Bob Marley in the back. How you doing, kid?
I'm great, man. How you?
Uh-oh, look at we're already glitching, Tone. Already glitching.
Yeah, right out of the gate, we're glitching.
Not so creative after all. The guy who pushes the buttons, losing out on the technology to two guys who only ever pushed one button their entire careers.
Dude, we had it so good. D. Bruce, I never realized how good we had it. Just turning the microphone on and off was the extent of my concerns. But now, dude, I mean, the first stop after I left KNBR was Damon Bruce's studio. It's a true story. And I absorbed your entire setup. I kind of modeled my own thing based on a kind of a loose sketch of what you've done. And it's funny, Creative Tony coming in with the glitches. I see with the smile on your face. You ready for round two, Tony? You want to say hello?
No,
he's not. No. He's just here to look good. That's all. Yeah.
Well, hey, man, you know, when good people lose great jobs, it always sucks. And the two of you guys both had great jobs. It's unfortunate that the ride came to an end. That ride is ending for a lot of people before it should. We all know that. But I want to, you know, once again, welcome you to the future, baby, because I know you're going to be well positioned. Tell us about Paulie's Pod. Tell us about the channel that is officially launching within days, weeks. What's the plan? There's like a soft launch that's already happened. You're already serving drinks, not full entrees. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Well, we're going to formally launch this bad boy this upcoming Wednesday at 9 a.m. It will be the premiere episode, the first installment of what we're calling Damon Bruce. The name of the show is Paulie Max Particles. That's also the name of the YouTube channel. So get over to Paulie Max Particles on YouTube. You can subscribe right now. And Damon, we're just going to start posting shows on a daily basis. We'll do it, generally speaking, we'll do it at 9 a.m. Throughout the work week. There will be occasions where we do afternoon shows, depending on if we're going to get some guests that are only available in the afternoon. We'll kind of cater to those guys. We'll make sure we get good guests. So sometimes we'll be posting some afternoon shows. But no, dude, I got to be honest, man. It's funny to do this job for 18 years, which I did with Brian Murphy on the Murph and Mac show. And then suddenly you're on the beach, as they say. You're a fish on the beach and you're looking for water. I've been looking to get back into the ocean all year, and finally I'm going back in this week. And I got to give a lot of thanks and a lot of credit to Creative Tony as well. He's been a huge help. And one of our colleagues, D. Bruce, one more guy I got to shout out is the great Larry Kruger. I was able to do a bunch of guest hits with him throughout the football season. Talk about this god-awful 49er season we've been slogging our way through. I was checking out some of your Gamecast during the first quarter. I mean, it's more of the same. It's what we've gotten used to with this team. A couple of, a field goal, a red zone, a burnout, a missed field goal from Moody. It's just this season, the sooner we get this game over with, the better, dude, and just start looking ahead. That's kind of where my head is at.
Absolutely. It can't come to an end fast enough. It's the bad date, and she ordered a dessert, even though the date's been horrible. Like, you just want it to wrap up. You really do. Tony, let's go. Take 3.
There he is.
Yo.
Hey, look at this kid.
There he is. Tony, it is great to see you. For those who do not know, because obviously Paulie was on the air, Tony was the man behind every single sound you ever heard around any KNBR show, around any commercial break, around any Giants or 49er game. If there was a produced element, that man right there produced it. How you doing, Tone?
I'm good, D. Bruce. Thanks for having me, dude. It's really, really good to see you again. And man, we're getting ready to go next week and to join the YouTube posse.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. You guys are going to get going to first show Wednesday, 9 o'clock, going directly against Damon, Bruce, Larry Krueger. I mean, we're making bold choices right out the rip. But here's the beautiful thing. Here's the beautiful thing. And this is where you're going to have to start, teaching the old dogs that are us radio guys new tricks. The time you start your show doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Doesn't matter anymore. People will watch it at their own convenience. And getting timestamps out of your show is one of the things that I still have trouble doing. Like I'll keep on saying, coming up on Monday. Well, I don't know what day the person is watching the video is actually watching on. So you kind of have to do everything in a world where time or space doesn't even really exist anymore. It's you're gonna have to teach yourself some new tricks.
You know what's wild, D. Bruce, is having chats with Paulie from the get-go saying, hey, dude, the days of like 4-hour shows are long gone. Like, and it's hard to get out of that mindset. And how we were taught in radio, always reset, new listeners, average quarter hours, your time spent listening, all that jazz. The listening habits have changed so drastically in the last 10 years that, man, it's a whole different world. And I am so jazzed to be getting to dive in, because it's just the possibilities are endless. And I look at all of us as one big family, really. I really do.
It's true. And that is all real. I mean, we are we're the island of misfits toys is what we really are.
Well, who's the heat miser then? Who's the villain?
Great question.
Who's the villainous heat miser?
That is a fantastic question. I don't know who, it wasn't Yukon Jack, Yukon
Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius.
Wow.
Thank you very, very much. Good pull. Very good pull.
Huge pull.
But look, man, it is a situation where the prisoners finally get to run the asylum. You will find out quickly you're the best program director you ever had. You will find out quickly that you will receive more joy from a small handful of views that you're responsible for generating than any big ratings point that was ever attached to you, because that was all sort of a made up number. Your views are real. Like there's no more estimating what your audience was. You know exactly what it was. And you got to get through the build-up period. I mean, I remember there were times where I would do shows and I'd be like, oh my God, 400 people watched the channel today. It was so humbling. It's the biggest slice of humble pie. Just keep your head down and plug through it, and it'll keep on growing, baby. It absolutely will. I mean, you guys know what you're doing. You're real broadcasters,
It's funny, D. Bruce. I feel like it's like with a lot of my analogies, I'll make a musical one, which is like when you're starting a new band, you don't book a run of shows at Madison Square Garden. You start up by playing clubs, and you play bars, and you play the local neighborhood tavern. And, and that's how you build an audience. And the funny thing, Damon Bruce, one of our old bosses, Tony Salvador, who ultimately is really responsible for my entire career, and Creative Tony to an extent too, because we go way back with that guy. But
I was one of Salvador's last hires.
There you go. You're part of that too. And that was a guy who truly loved radio. He was tough. He could be a real stern kind of boss and a tough guy, but he loved the product and he cared about radio. And what he always used to tell me, Damon, is like, he goes, anytime you're starting a new show, it takes about a year for the general public just to even know what you're doing, to get used to you, kind of realize that you are there, you're a presence. So I've always had that in the back of my mind, Tony, when I think about like starting this new show, is that Salvador said it takes about a year to get up on your feet. So yeah, no, Damon, I expect it to be humbling, man. I mean, you said 400 views. Dude, I'll be psyched if I have 45 views on my first show, because honestly, we're pulling something out of thin air. We got to let people know we're doing it. And a part of the reason we're sitting in with D. Bruce today is to get that word out. So again, Tony, tell people, if they're just tuning in, how they can subscribe to the new show, which starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, go to YouTube at Polymax Particles. Really, just subscribe, subscribe, and follow, and we'll be blasting updates the same way Damon does, the same way Larry Kruger does. We'll be on frequently, and looking forward to interacting with the listeners and viewers. I'm really excited because I think we were all used to kind of walking on eggshells working in corporate radio.
Yeah,
you know
especially
what I mean?
yeah.
And so Damon, one of the things you taught me years ago.
By the way, this is why I probably left radio with the fewest amount of friends, because I didn't care whose toes or eggshells I stepped on. I was a carton of egg crushing motherfucker.
Dude, yes, man.
Right.
And Damon, you taught me that years ago. That yes, you're under this corporate umbrella, but man, you gotta be you. And one of the lessons that Paulie taught me years ago is you got to open the door to your life, your personal life, because that's the way to connect with people. And I feel like that's what's worked over the years. And to do that kind of, without any, I don't know, just hesitancy, and just kind of be able to roll with it must be really refreshing. And I'm really excited to do that with Paulie Mac. I mean, one of the freaking broadcasting legends in the Bay Area. You too, D. Bruce. And that's what you think about too. All of the talent that is not on terrestrial radio anymore. That's just sitting there doing their own thing.
We could start our own radio station with the amount of talent that is out of work in radio right now.
A fully formed staff from Damon Bruce, Larry Kruger, Paulie Mack, Creative Tony, Tom Tolbert, Rod Brooks. I mean, there's so many talented. You could even throw Bob Fitzgerald on there too. Bob was a radio guy, came here for decades, and he's now doing Warrior games, but he's not on the air doing a show. And you're right, Damon. Like, one question I wanted to ask you is, when you were transitioning into this new kind of YouTube space, what did you do, or did you feel a hole in the show in any capacity in terms of not having callers anymore? Like, you can't interact with callers on YouTube. So do you feel that as an absence, or is that something that you've just accommodated with comments and stuff?
So obviously the chat is like no other kind of like chat or text line you've ever dealt with. There is a level of connection that goes on in there. Nice. And there's a group, a true community that forms within your chat that, through the Plus Mania events that I've done, I've had people really get to know each other and have become like real life friends with each other. So there's more of a sense of the community, even though you can't take the calls like you used to. But what you can also do is just take the same invitation that I sent you guys to click in as my guest today. You can put that invitation right into the chat, and people can call in with video calls.
Wow.
That's cool.
And I've done that on occasion. When KNBR said we're not going to do sports phone anymore, I said, well, I'm starting Sports Phone Fridays then. I'm taking the name. And then as soon as I did that, they're like, oh no, we're doing sports phones again. And I was like, well, fuck you. I was the host. I own it more than you do, so I'm not coming off of it.
Yeah.
And so we still do video calls on Fridays sometimes, but it's you will have more audience interaction, even though they aren't good old-fashioned phone calls, than you've ever experienced.
Nice.
And when you really get people who dig what you do and want to support by more than just liking and subscribing, which I hope everyone is liking and subscribing right now. Over 200 people watching. We don't have 200 likes. So, boom, boom, boom. Lean in, get aggressive, hit that thumbs up button. You get really nice things like, how about this? A super chat, 650, just put $50 in the ganja jar.
That's what I'm talking about.
Brett is making the Damon Bruce Show great again. Thank you very much, Brett, for $5. I appreciate it very much. And I do at times feel like a stripper walking around asking to have guys tuck bucks in my G-string, but
yeah,
here we are.
Hey, you got to pay the bills, man. You can tuck it into G-string. I'm totally comfortable with that anytime. Yeah.
Absolutely. By the way, so while we've been chit-chatting, we are about 5 minutes now into this second quarter.
Yeah.
It is a 10-3 Cardinals lead. A special teams play was executed without major catastrophe by the 49ers, which is nice. But
hey, D. Bruce, did you like that? Did you like how the Niners didn't defend the fake punt? That was pretty cool.
Listen,
it's a level of special teams that I've come to expect. If you don't
by the way, I got to get a line out here too. I feel like all of our jobs are more secure than Jake Moody's at the moment.
Oh, dude, no, he's already gone. He should start filing for unemployment at halftime.
He missed another one.
No, D. Bruce and I already hit that when you fell off. No, I know it's bad. And you know what's crazy, you guys? Like D, I'm not usually a reactionary in the moment, like make wholesale changes during the season kind of guy. However, in this case, in this season, I want to run this by you, Tony and Damon. I would have made a move at special teams coach like week 6 because it was obvious the wheels had come off so quickly. I remember going all the way back to the Rams game in Los Angeles when they executed that fake punt. We had no idea it was coming. And there's been blunder after blunder after blunder, week in, week out. It's never gotten corrected. It's never gotten resolved. I would have pulled the plug and put in a new special teams coach at least halfway through the season just to make a statement. Like, this is not acceptable. This level of kind of comedy that they're giving us on special teams is unacceptable. Where are you guys? Am I like a little bit overboard with this, or you got? Yeah, where are you, D?
I was in week 4 saying you need to send a message through your locker room that this is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Every special teams highlight, if it can only be played over the Benny Hill theme, that means something's got to change. And
exactly.
That's what this year has been, and they are not going to the playoffs because of special teams.
Right.
I mean,
yes.
You put 2 more wins into the mix early on in the year, it changes the entire tone of the entire year.
That's
and
right.
Everything feels different. The down the stretch play isn't as bad as it's been. I really believe that. So the fact that this team started talking about taking games seriously when they got eliminated, when they just sort of let week 2 through 5 just happen in an ether of it just didn't come together. That has been, I think, the thing that's pissed me off about this team more than anything else. The slow walking approach into the regular season.
Yes.
When they, it was finally a normal, calm off season for Brock Purdy. He finally gets one, and they did everything they could to fuck that up. And they just have been spinning their wheels ever since that moment.
Hey, D. Bruce, like how we're calling the show Polymax Particles, because Paulie's been like spreading particles around the Bay Area universe.
Among other things,
cease and desist from Carlos Santana yet?
Not yet, man. Hopefully, Carlos is cool with it. Yeah,
but I feel like the vibe going into the season was horrible.
100%.
Well, the Brandon Ayuk holdout for starters. I mean,
and Trent Williams didn't help either. And it's just like there was a bad vibe going in, and they never were able to like get past it. Like the dark cloud never dissipated, never cleared.
And while we're talking about dark clouds, Tony, I feel like one guy, because D. Bruce, I've told this to Tony several times, and I'd love to hear where your head's at. One of the changes I would make in the offseason, I would say goodbye to Deebo Samuel. I've seen enough. Like, too temperamental. I actually think at this point, Deebo might be happier if he has 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown than if he has 1 catch for 3 yards and the Niners win. I think he's more concerned with his own stat line at this point. And that whole give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. Here's the ball. Oh, I dropped it right on the goal line with the passing me right my numbers. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. And I think they have enough at that position already, assuming Ayuk can come back and contribute. But that's Tony, you mentioned dark cloud. I feel like Deebo was a dark cloud in some way. And then he goes on his podcast and he's dropping all kind of I don't know. I've kind of soured on Deebo Samuel. And in terms of his productivity, it just hasn't been. He's not the same guy anymore, flat out. Like you said, Damon, suddenly last week he decided, I'm going to be inspired now. Now I'm going to play hard and I'll break a few tackles. Where the hell has that been all year? So that's one thing as far as dark clouds, Tony. I would make some kind of move to get him a new home and maybe get something in return.
So, the way that he just restructured, you're probably going to spend more money on moving Deebo Samuel than if you keep Deebo. It's a weird kind of situation they're in. And here's the thing. I do think he has a place on this team as the highest paid gadget guy in all of football. And I do like him on special teams.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see Debo as your starting X or Y. And he's an overpay, but I think that he plays with a level of violence that when the Niners are good, he's at his best. I mean, here's the thing. Everything you said is 100% true. I thought he's had a shitty attitude. Yeah. I thought he was a bit of a me first player. Yeah. And when he really, did this, it ain't me, it's you. We then found out, in a it ain't me game that it was him dropping balls still. So he got a slice of humble pie served to him in front of the entire football world. And maybe that's what brought out the best in him just a week ago. I don't know. Too little, too late. I've been calling him Mr. Once a Month. Right. He has a good game once a month.
And then you throw in on top of that the day that he attacked his kicker on the field on national TV. Like he's going after his kicker, like physically. Like you can't be doing that shit.
You can't.
And I also wonder, Damon, I
do also want to go after Jake Moody physically, though. I'll give him that much.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you ain't the only one, man. I'll drive the car. Yeah, we'll go over. Yeah.
Hey, you know what I loved was the onside kick at the end of last week's game.
Dude,
I mean,
it was a rocket. It was like a rocket launcher right out of bounds.
There was zero chance of anybody recovering that ball. And it's like, what the hell was that?
By the way, guys, we break for supers when they come in. I also want to get this one. Definitely subscribing to all you guys. Jason, that's the way to do it. It takes a village to keep these former radio guys eating and married and not divorced. So please like and subscribe, if you will. We got Trebor 5 saying, let's go, D. Bruce. Plus 1 to smoke on. Bay Area legends are in the house. They certainly are today. We're very, very lucky to have these guys here. Rob C., who is so generous, dropped $100. That's why his nickname is Rob C. Note.
Nice.
They should fire Farhan to replace Lynch. Oh, yeah, bring Farhan in. Let's go through that again, Rob. Please.
Hey, do you guys think on any level, I've bounced this off Kruger a few times, and he didn't really think so, but I'd be curious to see how you guys view this. Do you think at any point this season, Shanahan lost, I don't want to say he lost the team, but do you feel like he lost maybe his connection with the team, or he lost some degree of being dialed into these guys, or not? Do you guys feel that, no, that wasn't part of the story this year?
So it's a legit question, right?
Yeah.
I think that, so I've been calling so here's my thing. I have a lot of complaints about what the Niners did when they went out to play. I have never really had a question of, do these guys even want to play? To me, it's never really been a question of effort. That's why Chase Young dogging it last year stood out like a sore thumb. It's why Devondre Campbell this year obviously stood out like a sore thumb.
Right.
The 49ers strap it on and play hair on fire football pretty much every fucking week under Shanahan. And so that, to me, I think is the evidence that he hasn't lost the room. I think they all understand he's a good coach who makes them better, and they respond to him. However, whatever the coaching equivalent of writer's block is, Shanahan's been suffering through it all year.
Yeah.
He cannot, if last year was his big album, his follow-up album has sucked.
That's good. Yeah.
And I don't know why, because he's a good singer-songwriter, but this album isn't very good. By the way, we just got static in this game. We got Jawan Jennings all tied up with corners on the ground. We got dudes yoking each other by lapels. We got flags. We got some spiciness kicking up in week 18 between Jennings and who is that?
Who is that, T?
Oh, it's Thomas for Arizona.
Yeah,
the DB Thomas.
Yeah, that's Sean Murphy Bunting.
I love the spice that Jennings brings.
So this started on the interception when he and Jennings were checking each other, and it ended up being an Arizona interception. These guys have been fighting after the snap about 4 or 5 snaps in a row, and that one boiled over right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Dobbs. Hey, Dobbs' ability to scramble, I'll give him that much.
He's mobile.
I'll give him that.
Oh no, we got an official getting helped off the field.
Wow.
Yep, this is what happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what happens when a 6-10 team squares off against a 7-9 team.
Amen.
Yeah,
You
no kidding.
throw out the records, and you have to if you want to
You got
really
some bad
enjoy
blood
it.
out there.
No, to get back to your question though, Paulie, there is a disconnect that has just been part of, Mike Silver called it bad vibe summer. The vibes and the disconnect have been off, and I think that Shanahan doesn't believe in Shanahan as much as Shanahan used to, more than players don't believe in Shanahan. I just think he knows, and he knew early, like, this is slowing down and going in the wrong direction. And whatever he could do to kickstart it, he never really found the switch on the wall to kickstart it again.
Do you think that I'm sorry, Tony, go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say, how much do you guys give, how much credence do you give to the injury factor? I saw at the beginning of this game that the Niners are second in the NFL in injuries over the season.
No, that's real. I mean, that's a real part of the story. It's to most of their best players too. Ayuk, Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk. We missed Bosa for a few games. So yeah, I think that's
all the running backs too. I mean, Garendo, and then Garendo goes down today, and it's like, so I'm trying to balance, like, how much is it injuries and how much is it the Shanahan factor as well?
I think it's a lot. I think it's the negligible amount of rest time that they've had comparison to so many of the opponents that they've faced. They've had the largest rest deficit in football. So I'm not surprised that correlates with one of the most injured rosters in all of football. And I would like the NFL to realize that most of today's week 17 games have been glorified preseason contests. And the last thing NFL really needs is an 18th game.
I couldn't agree more. 100%.
We do not need more football.
No. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt the league. It's gonna hurt the fan base because you're just gonna have more injuries. The body can't sustain that. You can't play 18 regular season games, and then if you're a wild card team, tack 3 more on if you go all the way, and you're playing 20. It's just the human body's not built to sustain that kind of damage. It's just not.
And look, there's also another thing that's happening. It's more happening in the college game right now. But so Notre Dame just wins the Sugar Bowl, and they got 2 more games left. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is crazy.
What can you say? Like, the whoring out of every dollar that can be made has just robbed every moment of accomplishment and special from every team that, oh, congratulations, you just won the Rose Bowl. You have 2 more games to play before anyone even admits you had a good season. Like,
and it does, and it also kind of waters down aspects of the game itself. Like, I heard Troy Aikman saying this last night, and I agree, which is, you got to be honest now, in a 17-game season, what does it really mean when your running back rushes for 1,000 yards? I mean, it's nice, but it's certainly not like rushing for 1,000 like when, guys like O.J. Simpson were doing it in 14 games in his schedule. Now, I mean, so that's like lost some of its magic or some of its prestige, the 1,000 yards per season for a running back. It's not really considered anymore. And then, the other thing is just kind of looking ahead, going back to Tony's dark cloud kind of vibe of the season. Or do you guys both agree? Like, I have to assume they're going to make a change at D coordinator, right? Or no, D Bruce? I'm hoping. I think they're going to have to make some kind of change.
I would think so, but I think that the change comes in a special teams change. And Sorensen, if nothing else, Sorensen can say, it was my first time doing it. I was learning on the job, which is the reason to have not given him the job in the first place. And I think we can all admit that the Sorensen, Brandon Staley think tank didn't do much thinking that helped the 49ers into the win column.
No.
But I do think that Sorensen's back. I think that continuity is important to this team. And they're going to look to come back with it as much as they can. And oh, by the way,
I was just going to say
49ers. So, will they blow a draft pick today? Chances are they might. Chances are they could. Oh, Kyle Juszczyk. You want to talk about somebody who's playing 2 more quarters in the Niner uniform, and then we're not seeing that guy again.
Dude, couldn't agree more on that point, Damon. He's his time's done. It's time to move on from Juszczyk. Like him as a person, like what he's done for the Niners over the course of his tenure, but it's time to move on. And
you can't have the highest paid fullback in the NFL and be shit on 4th and goal.
Right. Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
You
By the way, Jennings got tossed from the game, and I'm reading in the comments.
He got ejected. Yeah.
People are asking in the comments. Thanks, by the way, for commenting. But they're wondering if he was due a bonus if he got 1,000 yards and he had 975.
I think he was, and he stalled out now at 975. You believe that? I know that's brutal. You got to wonder, like, that's almost too staged, you know?
Oh, that is brutal.
Seriously,
that is brutal.
Jed York cut the check anyways. Like cut Saquon his check anyways, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Paulie and I watched a Bruce Springsteen show behind Jed York. What was that in April?
You were right behind Jed.
Right behind Jed. I go, Paulie. I mean, I think that's Jed York.
You might want to show Deep Bruce one of the photos.
Yeah.
You know how he ID'd him? There was a telltale sign. Tony,
bald spot.
Yes.
I just got to be honest. There it was. I mean, the lights were hitting it just right, Deep Bruce. There was a little glow coming off it. I go, boy, I've seen that bald spot before.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there it was. It was JY getting
and it was a bummer too, because it was like, while I got to give him his props for being at the show, there were key moments in the show where he was kind of on his phone, and I'm like, no, dude, this is where this is where you got to be putting that thing away.
Oh, speaking of key moments, you guys got to connect on your whole fish thing too. Do you guys got New Year's to talk about? I'm going to let you guys go now for a couple of minutes. Yeah.
So one of the moments of the entire Fish year is when they came out of Fish EDM Techno Fish for their New Year's Eve gag, and they dropped into Chalk Dust Torture on the smoothest drop you will ever see. It was incredible. I've listened to it like 20 times.
It's so good.
Happened. I liked EDM Fish. You know, it's the fact that they're in year 40 together and they're still innovating, like that's what makes them special, man. It really does. So
were you there, D. Bruce? Did you go to the Garden? Did you go to the show, Damon?
No. I was on couch tour.
Couch tour.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get that pillow for my backdrop. I have a couch tour pillow. But D. Bruce, yes. So there's a band, Paulie, that Paige McConnell, the keyboardist for Fish, started years ago called Vita Blue. Right?
Yeah, I know Vita Blue. They used to play the Fillmore. Yeah.
Right. And they had a song called Most Events Aren't Planned, which Damon knows. And that was like their first, like, oh my God, this sounds like we're in a rave, you know. And I saw them play that at the Garden back during the Baker's Dozen. And then when I heard them play What's Going Through Your Mind is the track that kind of like launched the EDM vibe. And after the New Year's moment, after Auld Lang Syne, and they had all kinds of like robed dancers, and they had this huge like mask. I don't even know what to describe. It was like a golden mask behind the band, and it was like, oh my God, are we at like a rave? It felt like it was a rave, and it was like, this is outstanding.
There's absolutely no doubt that eventually Trey is going to Broadway.
Yeah.
He's going to do something on Broadway with a symphony behind him. You can see it coming. There's going to be residencies as the band starts to slow down and do less. They'll do less touring, more residencies, and maybe a little Broadway something. But I still love the creative juices that flow through them. I really, really do.
Oh, no question. No question.
Julian and I, in 3 weeks, are going to Mexico. And we are going to the Mexico run. So,
hey, didn't you do that before?
Fantastic.
So you know how you make stickers when you go to a show?
Yeah.
We're making stickers that are the 5-timers. It's our 5th Mexico run.
Dude,
nice.
That's got to get you like some Mexico status or some kind of like I don't know. Do you get like a ribbon?
You think it would? You think it would? We had gone in the past and like we brought my mom and my kids and my sister and like we've gone. You know, when I had. when I had afternoon drive money, we would get like a stage-facing presidential suite. Like we went big. We went really, really big. We're just the two of us going this year, and we're just going to be the normals this year. But no disc. Here's the one thing I never knew. I never knew that like how many shows you've been to would be any like currency. I never counted. I have no idea how many Fish shows I've been to. I didn't know that we were supposed to count those.
Yeah, I know. I lost count. I lost count a long time ago.
I do, by the way. But because of that, I have always counted every single broadcast I have done. And I want the two of you to know right now that since my very first night on KNBR, which was October 24th, 2005.
Wow.
To the show that we are hosting all together right now. Today is broadcast number 4,653.
Damn.
Dude.
That's respectable, man.
That's like double the amount of dead shows total, right?
That's a lot. That's a lot. Specifically, Damon Bruce shows ever hosted. That's 2,658. YouTube shows only. That is 410. I count them all. I've broken them all down. I've got total shows done with Ray Ratto, total shows done with Damon Ratto and Kolsky, total shows on The Game, total shows on KNBR. I mean, I've been counting ever since.
Shout out Kolsky, dude. Yeah. By the way, do you have Kolsky on your show as a guest ever? Do you ever get some Kolsky?
I have. It's been a while though. I got to get him back in the mix, especially now that, football is subsiding and we're getting it into basketball. He's such a big basketball junkie.
Dude.
That I got to get Kolsky back. I got his holiday card. Yeah, we're on the list.
So, I feel like, Tony, we're going to need to talk to Kolsky at some point. There's something about like the aggressive certainty of a Kolsky that I just get a big kick out of, because when he's dropping his takes, dude, he comes at he's doing it with great gusto and great authority, and I just like that about Kolsky. He's like, no, let me tell you what's really going on here, and I'll be like, all right, Matt, the floor is yours, kid.
It's crazy too about like
aggressive certainty.
You feel me on that, Bruce? Yeah.
I wish. So when we were working together, I wish you would have called me up and had said, "Hey, Damon, you should use this with Matt." We would have done a segment called "Kolsky's Aggressive Certainty." That's
that's how he comes, dude. He comes strong, he comes hard, and he comes fast.
So when I lived in Portland for a little while, that you saw bumper stickers everywhere that said "Keep Portland Weird."
Yes.
And when, like I always tell my kids, because they'll call me weird and I'll say thank you, like trying to just tell them like, hey, thanks, and they look at me like I'm an idiot, but keep Kolsky weird is what I would like to say.
Always.
We got no choice.
Because that's what I love about him the most. And if you got his holiday card, card was the weirdest and most wonderful and most amazing holiday card.
He's got purple hair. He's got purple hair.
That's what I'm talking about. No, there was a couple of times like he would fill in on the Murph and Mac show, like he would do like sports updates if Kate Scott was out or something, and he would just come rolling in, dude, with the Jesus Christ hairdo and the curls. He's got the flowing robes and the sandals and everything. I'm like, bro, look at this kid.
It's the best.
This kid doesn't give a shit right here. He just doesn't give a shit. And then then he starts getting into serious sports takes. It's like, wow, interesting combination of hippie and sports talker. It's like a hybrid that he invented,
No, it really is. It's like he looks like the dude, but it's also Skip Bayless at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, totally.
It was unique. It was unique. We had some very memorable days for good reasons and bad reasons in studio together. I can say the same about Ratto too. You want to talk about just two of the I mean, I guess everyone looks at me and says, well, that guy also checks the might be weird box, but I don't know if I'm weird. Ratto and Kolsky are both kind of weirdos.
Really I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I can't love Ratto enough for his weirdness.
I love him, but look, I mean, Ray, I've been trying to get him on the channel. He just is not interested anymore. He's just there's no interest. I'll text him. He won't write me back for 6 weeks. And then he'll write back. He'll be like, oh, sorry, was in Europe.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
mysterious cat. Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't think you even traveled, but okay, if you said you were in Europe, the question was, are you ready to come on the channel? So like, now that you're back from Europe, do you think we could maybe do something? And, 4 more weeks goes by and he'll be like, oh, sorry, I didn't see this text.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Never commit. So like, I'm guessing this is Ray blowing me off in one way or another here. This is what that is.
Yeah.
By the way, I just saw a comment. I want to get your guys' thoughts. I just saw this Jeff Ulbrich. Would you consider bringing Jeff Ulbrich into the Niner coaching staff?
I don't see that happening. I just don't see that. He's not part of the Shanahan scene. I don't see it. I like Ulbrich.
Well, they tried to hire him, right? They tried to have an interview with him, but the Jets wouldn't let him. So there might be some interest there, but.
And speaking of weird and out of his mind, if you watched Hard Knocks with the Jets, what was that last year with
Bobby Saleh?
With Saleh, and it was the all gas, no break. I mean, man,
he's got a couple screws loose, dude. He used to sprint the stairs at Levi's before games and stuff. It's like, bro, calm down.
Yeah,
but he's out there too. Like I don't know. That might be a guy that Kyle wants to talk to again, because when Saleh was here running that defense, man, they were revving at a very high level.
You know who I do have faith in, though, you guys, is John Lynch. And I was telling Paulie this last week, Damon, that when I saw how pissed off John Lynch was in the press box last week and showing his reaction, I said, you know what? That is a GM who wants a championship as bad, if not more, than the players and the coaching staff. and he's going to do what it takes to get there again.
I mean, hitting some fucking draft picks then, John.
Yeah,
he's got to. Lord, he is, he's had some nice late round contact, but way too many first 3 round swings and misses out of him.
Well, we can't do kickers in the 3rd round anymore. How about that?
No more. Both street kickers that came off the street were better than the guy they drafted out of Michigan. So come on.
So brutal, man.
By the way, we are coming out of the 2-minute warning here.
Okay.
At the end of what has been one of the worst halves of football you'll ever watch in your life.
You know what I mean?
But Kyler Murray scrambles to pick up a 1st and goal. A little interesting today. Kyler Murray needs 50 rushing yards and a touchdown to trigger a $750,000 contract bonus today.
Whoa.
So, Kyler would love 50 and a tutty. Ooh. So he's going to try to run this in.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and I don't blame him. $750,000 is a lot of money to anybody.
Oh, dude, come on. Go get that cash, Kyler.
No question. I also want to give a shout out to the season that Joe Burrow has had this year.
Oh, what a freaking stud that kid is.
On a 9-8 team.
Nah, he is such a badass. I hope they find their way into the playoffs. What do they need? A Denver loss to get in? Is that what they need?
They need a Denver loss and a Miami, or a Miami loss or something like that. It's a combo of Denver and the Miami game, too.
Is it, by the way, is it still alive out there? What they need to get in. All I know is that the Joe Burrow would be in if they had beaten Jacoby Brissett and the Patriots back in week 1.
Unbelievable.
Crazy.
They had some really, really rough losses early. The fact that they put together this kind of string of wins on the back half of their year is really impressive. And Joe Burrow's numbers have been off the charts. And a lot of those games he lost, he was still throwing 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's had a hell of a year, Joe Burrow.
You can't go out there and make tackles too, apparently.
Broncos are beating the Chiefs 24-0.
24-0. Yeah, it's so that they're going to get that leg of it. And what, Jets got to beat the Dolphins, or the Dolphins got to beat the Jets? How does that go?
So I think if Denver wins, Cincinnati's out. So looks like Cincinnati's out.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah, right. But what a season for Joe Burrow. And hey, D. Bruce, what's your faith in Purdy and the whole contract situation?
Yeah, the money. That's a good question.
And all that.
Where are you with that, Damon?
Touchdown, Trey McBride, by the way. Kyler with
a
touchdown, so it's going to be 17-10.
Perfect.
With a minute 51 remaining in the first half. Let's just look at this. Who we got any blown assignment to worry about here?
Encroachment.
Defensive coordinator miscommunication. No, that was just Fred Warner getting beat to the back corner by Trey McBride. That's all that was.
By the way, Fred Warner playing most of the season on a fractured ankle.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more. Fred Warner's been playing his guts out all year.
It's crazy.
So here's what I'd like to ask for. I'd like to know that information in real time as it's happening, especially with the NFL having all these gambling and betting partners. There's an awful lot of money that I wagered on the 49ers that had I known Fred Warner had a broken ankle, I probably don't even make that bet. So
to that point,
with millions of dollars in fines for lying, or at least pay my gambling debts.
You could say the same about McCaffrey at the beginning of the season.
Oh, they totally bullshitted his injury. Absolutely, they did.
And it was like, wait, what? You're telling me, wait, what? He's out for how long? Wait, what?
Game time decisions don't book the next flight to Germany.
Right.
No.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I mean about the vibes of this season from the get-go. Were just so odd.
It was dark.
So weird.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is such a weird season, It kind of reminds me of like those Montana Young vibes back in the day when there was just that weirdness between Montana and Young, and it was really hard to kind of navigate. And you felt for Walsh having to navigate those waters. It's like, okay, this is just bizarre.
Here's what I know. I know that the 49ers have never been to the playoffs in the same year Murph and Mac were broken up by bad programming decisions.
That's a good call.
That's a fact.
Man. That's a good call. That's a fact. That's undisputable. Can't dispute that shit. That's a fact. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
So, hey, how about the nice free press that we got from Adam Simon over at SF Gate? What a nice little story he wrote about all of us. And it sounds like you and Murph are going to be doing some stuff early on. I love hearing that. I really do.
Well, yeah, man, that's like probably the question I hear more than any other, Damon, is people are psyched I'm doing a show, and then the immediate follow-up is, where's Murph and how's he going to be a part of it? And and I totally understand that. I mean, if Murph and I had our druthers, we'd still be doing a show together right now today. But that was broken up against our wishes. So, yeah, I mean, the best thing I can offer right now is Brian Murphy's going to be joining us as a guest. He'll be what I like to call like a recurring guest, a weekly guest. And then, Damon, it's all so unpredictable right now. I can't speak for Murph, but I do know that he's got some negotiating to do this year with the station, and God only knows how it's going to play out. Honestly, I mean, who knows at this point what KBR has in their piggy bank or what their future plans are, if there are future plans at all. I mean, I'm just going to be real. There are so many rumors on the street now about the future of KBR. All of them are depressing, and in a bigger sense. So to answer your question, yeah, Murph will be part of the show as a guest in the early days, and maybe he'll become more than that down the road. We're going to have to kind of wait and play that thing out together. But you know what, guys, before we jump ship here at halftime, I did want to say, D. Bruce, one thing, and I know you feel this too, and I really like this about you, is that there is a sadness to watch like terrestrial traditional radio just kind of fall over and die on the side of the road. Like it really does. It was a huge part of me growing up was listening to the radio, and it kind of defined who you were. It'd be like, hey man, what station do you listen to? Oh,
Totally.
I like the Quake. I like KSJO. I like Alex Bennett or whatever. I listen to KBR. That's all gone now. And, I studied this in college. I dove into my college radio station. I knew immediately that's what I wanted to do. And you guys, I never expected money. I assumed I would never make any money, but I did want to have a job I loved and I was passionate about. And I figured that's where I would find my happiness. Just so happens I got a couple of good bounces along the way and I had a good solid career, but to see the industry itself and the shape it's in, it's really sad. How are you guys feeling about watching the death of radio?
It does hurt. I mean, it's like watching a family member. It's something that I care deeply, deeply about. And again, if you're into money, you were never into radio. It was you got into radio because there was just something about it that called to you. That was a little magical. That
Yes.
The music that came out, the way that my grandfather loved the radio. I felt like that was something that connected me and him together. And I didn't care about Ford or Chevy or Nike or Adidas. I liked Pix 106. That was my hometown radio station that I grew up listening to, and Q104 and that's what I cared about. Fly 92. I love that. And then the whole baseball on the radio and sports on the radio and sports talk on the radio. Right. Like I remember when I was 13 years old, sports talk radio didn't exist. And then like I'm 14 years old and now it does.
Yeah.
And once that happened, I knew what I wanted to do for a living.
See?
You took the one thing I want to talk about and you put it in the one thing that I listen to. Like oh my God, let's do that for a living. And that's what I chose to do. And there is always going to be a level of romance that is attached to it. That, let me tell you, the coming generations feel none of. There is no one under the age of 25 who's got any interest in romance radio stories at all.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it allows for such an intimate connection between the host or the performer and the audience that really doesn't exist with like traditional radio or streaming services, Netflix, what have you. Even TV, say you're attached to like a local newscaster, you still never get behind that facade of like, hey, I'm a professional newscaster. Look at this. It's 75 degrees today. In radio, it's like the veil kind of comes down and you can really get to know the person as a listener. And I feel like that whole idea is evaporated now. Like we're still going to be able to do it, Damon. We can do it on YouTube.
Yeah.
We can still connect with people. But just that whole like driving to work and feeling like that guy because you hear him every day. Like it's just sad that won't be a part of future, generations.
And everything is just set up to be short attention span theater. And radio was long attention span theater.
Right.
Look at what we got right now. So we got 3 boxes that people are looking at us in. And each of those boxes is a box with our name on it. I've got powered by BetUS. If I put this on, I'd be like bathroom break. I'm going to be right back. There's so much shit on this screen. There's so much stuff to distract you within this own broadcast.
That's true. Yeah.
Where in radio, it's a single voice coming out of a single speaker, hitting you in your ear while you're alone. And it is intimate. And, it's you probably don't watch TV when you're naked in the shower, and you don't read a newspaper when you're naked in the shower, but you listen to the radio when you're naked in your bathroom. There's an intimacy there. And nothing else really does. And here's the thing. The reason why radio is dying is because of advertising dollars.
Yep.
advertising dollars drying up and going somewhere else is part of the reason why radio is dying. But what has so fast-tracked radio's death is the amount of know-nothing, greedy middle management, incompetent fucks that have dotted every single radio station and industry and cluster that I have ever worked in or around or drove past. The amount of how do you even have a job here that I've dealt with in radio in my life is incredible. And all of that has come up. And Ricky Pearsall's in the end zone, baby.
Yes.
Ricky Pearsall, leave it to the 49ers to go down at halftime or put together a drive to just fuck up a draft pick. Well, Kyle has done that. And Ricky on a nice little crossing route. Look, you're looking for a silver lining. What can you get out of a week 17 game?
Yep.
Well, keep it going, Ricky Pearsall.
Yep.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Well,
and last week, he had a great week last week, too, against Detroit. I mean, they lost the game, but Pearsall, if there's a bright light at that coming out of that loss, it was Pearsall. And I feel like he's the future. And you got Jennings, if Ayuk comes back healthy. I mean, that's a good. And by the way, I hate seeing such a great season by Kittle go to waste. I mean, what a season.
He's played his ass off. He's had a great year.
God. I mean,
Len Ashmont. I think we have an Ashmont award.
That's a great call.
Has to be hands down. I mean, and Damon, earlier you talked about how the players are giving it their all. That is a guy who guaranteed every week will give it his absolute all, give everything he can, and also will support everybody on his team left and right. I mean, I think he was one of the first guys to go up to Moody last week after his third loss and say, or his third miss, and say, "Hey, how do we get you through this? How can we work together to get you through this?" Like,
he's everything that's right with football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
By the way, this is from Adam, who comes in with a $10 super. Thank you, Adam.
Nice, Adam.
I talked to two journalism classes at Cal Poly back to back. First class, 2 students had radio as part of their pattern. The next class, 0 students as radio part of their pattern. Wow. I love radio, but the future is not it. No, and it's a true. So I think it's very safe to say that neither one of my sons, but for a moment there in the car, will ever hold a radio in their hand. No transistor radio, no way. Neither kid will ever go to bed listening to it because they want to catch that late inning, or it's not going to happen.
No.
You mentioned something about the romanticism of radio, Damon, and I just want to say the theater of the mind is what I loved about radio.
Yes.
And not that I don't love seeing both of your mugs, but when I was a kid listening to radio, I liked to create my own image of who I was listening to. Right? And I'm sure people did that along the way until you could see somebody visually. And I loved that. And then you also mentioned baseball on the radio. Radio is almost like made for baseball, it feels like.
Yes.
And we've been lucky enough in the Bay Area to have one of the best broadcasting crews ever assembled in the history of baseball, with Flem and Kruk and Kipe and John Miller. I mean, we are so spoiled with those guys. If you go to other markets and listen to their broadcasts, they're not awful, but it's the Mount Rushmore.
Put it this way, we do not know how good we have it. All you got to do is go somewhere else, turn on a game, and within 5 minutes, you're going to be like, I miss John Miller.
Yes. I got a funny John Miller story real quick, because when every year the Giants won the World Series, he would come into my studio and we would record a highlights package to put together for each season. And Lee Hammer and I would write the scripts, and then John would come in and voice them, and then I would produce them with music and highlights and stuff. And John came in all 3 years with his scorebook from the season, and he used one of those pens that has the 4 colors that you can click down the different color, right?
Of course he does. Yeah, of course he does.
And so green, it would write when they scored a run, he would fill in the box in the scorebook with green. An error was written in red. Lineup was in black, and pitching changes were in blue. And I'll never forget, it was some game in May of the 2012 season. And he's reading it, and he goes, yes, and full count. And he goes, I don't believe, Tony, can we pause here? I don't believe that was a full count in that at bat. Let me go back and check the scorebook real quick.
Jesus.
And he goes, yes, I was correct. It was a 3-1 count. So can we just strike that from the script? I'm like, this guy
he's getting into some Rain Man territory.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. He's like a walking encyclopedia for baseball.
You know, talking about John Miller though, right now in the middle of January is like talking about Santa Claus in June. You know what I mean? Like what's John Miller doing right now? Like,
he's on the beach somewhere. He's got to be on the beach.
I see him in a robe. I see him in an open robe, like that's not tied. He's just walking around like with an open robe, maybe a cocktail, like a White Russian, something like that. Oh, hello. I'm watching football right now. You know what I mean? Like, It's just odd to think of him out of baseball context, but he's out there somewhere. He's doing something. Yeah.
John Miller was never a guy who did another sport, right? Like he never did football.
I don't think so.
He never did basketball as far as I know. Maybe he did, but I certainly didn't know him having any reputation for doing anything other than baseball. So.
I mean, could you just imagine it too? Pavelski, slapshot score. Like it would just be too weird, you know what I mean? And
it would be weird.
Winds up and,
it would be. By the way, Rob C wants to know: was Dibs ever on this show? I might have missed that. No. You know what? We have not had Dibs. So we only started doing these live watch parties about like 6 weeks ago.
It's a great idea.
And we have yet to get to Dan Dibley, but I can promise you that there is no intent or reason why I love Dan. We'll definitely get Dan on the show.
Yeah.
He's got a young one at home though. So, you got young kids. My wife has got both kids out of here right now. Let me ask you guys, and this is especially a question for you, Paulie, because you know what? You're a really nice, well-adjusted guy anyways. I don't think you were the needed therapy guy.
Well,
but the reason why you probably never went to therapy is because you had a show.
Yeah. Well, I got to work out a lot. Poor man's therapy. Yeah.
I never, ever needed a therapist. I had a microphone and I just let it all go for 4 hours a day. And and that was like, not only did I need that, my family needed that.
Oh, God, yes.
Jillian this morning. Yeah. I get right up and I'm going, NFL games and I'm going to make some pancakes and all that. And I'm talking football and I'm texting with my boys and all this stuff. And Jillian, we're at the end of a 2-week holiday break here. The kids have been home for 2 weeks. We can't wait to send them back to school tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. It's been great, but it's been a lot of kids.
Time to go.
And Jillian was like, what time are you talking to Paulie and Tony today? Oh my God, you won't shut up. So I need to do these shows to get it out of me. And I'm guessing that the two of you are starting to wear thin on your spouses as well.
What are you kidding? You think my wife wants to hear my riffs? She's got no interest, bro. You should be like, save that for Creative Tony. I'm in the middle of something right now. I mean, baby, don't you want to hear what I have to say about the Niners D coordinator situation? She's like, I couldn't care less. So no, Damon, you're right, dude. My audience is not in my home. My audience is out there. So the sooner we can get back on that mic, Tony, the better. And again, one more time, for people just tuning in now, this Wednesday, Creative Tony and myself, we're going to launch our new show. It's called Polymax Particles. You can subscribe at YouTube. Just go to Polymax Particles. You sign up, and we'll start posting shows on Wednesday, and we ain't looking back. Once we step on the gas, we're going, Tony. We're going.
No question. And on the wife front, I've always had a mantra that's space is healthy. Yeah. And I haven't given her much. Since I've been let go from KNVR. So I think even if I'm just in a different room in the house,
that's a good start. Yeah,
locked in this room, forcing myself away from her for a couple of hours is a good thing.
Yeah, it's healthy for everybody. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Have we got any big first show launch plans, guest theme, anything we need to know about?
Not really. I think
first show, or are we just going to kind of just flip it on and go?
Yeah, I think we're going to flip it on and kind of explain what we're doing, why we're here, and where we intend on taking this thing. And then I got to give Tony this idea. He was the first one to say, Paulie, when we launch the new show, the first guest has to be Brian Murphy. So that was a good idea, and we're setting that up right now. So the first guest on the show next week will be Murph. And it looks like that'll most likely be on Thursday, Tony.
Yeah.
But we'll address that on Wednesday. We'll sort all that stuff out. And in fact, I'm going to have to jump off of this broadcast right now, D. Bruce. But I wanted to say thank you very much. And not only for today, because the audience should know this. Damon's been a really cool guy. Like, I wasn't kidding. When I left KNBR, the first thing I did was I grabbed Tony and I said, dude, we got to start doing our own thing. And Tony was like, I'm in, dude, I'm interested. Let's go. And I said, well, let's go see what Damon's doing, because I know you've had the show. You've done well with it. And by the way, compliments on how you present it, because it looks great.
Yep.
It sounds great. And Damon had us over to his studio, and it was very, very helpful. So again, D. Bruce, I want to thank you, man, for the support. And we're not done. We'll keep this going back and forth.
Look at it this way. We're about to work together more than we ever have in our entire lives. I can guarantee it. So
yeah, and it's a good thing, man.
Hey, no one can bump Murph as your first guest, but on day 3, day 4, when you're looking for that next guest, give me a call. I'd love to join you on Paulie's Particles soon enough. I'd love to get a recap of that Primus concert that you hit last weekend. I know that they're still looking for a drummer. Have they found their drummer that they're going to go tour with?
Not yet. That was a guy who sat in just for the one gig. Yeah, they're still auditioning from what I understand. Yeah.
Very cool. And what we do got to do, because I know you're all tapped into the local music scene, Sweetwater and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We got to start going to shows together. We
No
all
question.
have time.
No question.
Not a problem. Yeah.
Damon, I got to get you down to the peninsula and go to the Guild Theater with me down in Menlo Park, which is the new spot on El Camino. It used to be a movie theater, and they renovated it and made it a 500 capacity music venue. That is fantastic.
100%. I'm 100% in on that. I'll tell you, also on my iconic venue that I have not made it down the peninsula to get to, I got to get to Frost Amphitheater.
Oh, yeah.
So, Damon, I just saw King Gizzard and the Lizard.
I
saw King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard at the Frost. And
are you a Gizzard guy?
I didn't even know I was until I got to, it was recommended. I check them out. I said, sure, I'll check them out.
They're very out there, very avant-garde, but I'm digging them. I'm also kind of getting into lettuce a little bit. Have you checked that out at all?
Oh, lettuce is fantastic.
Pretty good.
Lettuce is so funky, and like that is like New York funk, like, to a T, But and then I saw Goose at the Frost, and both shows great, venue fantastic. One of the guys from King Gizzard, the lead singer, he looks out at the crowd at the Frost and he goes, "Oh man," because they're all Aussies, right? And he goes, "Oh man, this is like being at Red Rocks with trees."
There you go. That's kind of true. That's a good description, actually. Yeah.
Very cool. What's the best last show you saw, Paulie?
Well, you know what? I'll probably say that Claypool show. It was so insane. There was 3 sets. Each set was totally bizarre. Like, you got to know you're walking into like a very unusual set of circumstances when you go see any Les Claypool show. Like, prepare to be freaked out. And I definitely was. So I'll say that was my most recent, and I'm still kind of trying to sort through the aftermath of that.
Yeah, you do have you got to walk in with the right expectation. I remember the very first time I brought Jillian to a Fish show.
Oh yeah,
at the Bill Graham. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a little test for where this relationship goes.
Right, totally, totally.
But I remember telling her, I was like, if you like 20% of this, that's a great start.
Yeah. Totally.
80% of this is probably, you're gonna be like, what the fuck am I looking at?
No, I know.
I know.
It's a lot to take in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, it was awesome to catch up with you. I look forward to the launch next Wednesday.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you.
Go subscribe to Paulie's Particles. Paulie, Tony, I really mean it. You are 2 of the best guys I've ever met in this business. Forget about the phrase "this business." You're just 2 of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. I love hanging out with you. It's a shame we didn't do more of it when we were all under the same umbrella. Now we are back under the same umbrella because we have no umbrellas to stand under or separate us anymore. Yeah. So let's just start hanging out more. It's great seeing you guys, and we'll do.
Thank you, D.
Rock and roll. Thanks again, Damon. Have a good show, brother.
Thank you so much, Damon. Love you, brother.
Love you guys. Paulie, Mac, Tony, Ryan, good people, great broadcasters, radio lifers. San Francisco down to the socks. Love those guys. By the way, is there a football game happening? We are so much more entertaining than this fucking football game. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Let's see what we're doing here. Oh, Drew says, let Paulie know that in 2010, after the World Series, I took a cruise through the Panama Canal. While going through, I was singing Lincecum to Panama. Oh, I wish I had gotten that, Drew, before he left. Lincecum. Yes, Paulie's freaking songs were always just, timely and funny and made that show what it was. It was charming. There's not a lot of radio shows that would do that anymore. And just there aren't going to be a lot of radio shows anymore. It just feels that way. It really, really does. Everybody loved it, though. Paulie Mack. Good guy right there. What do we got? People talking about Red Zone. What's happening on here? Everyone good? Everyone good? Chat's doing good. It says, worst watch party ever, flapping their lips about anything but the game. That's a joke. Thank you very much, Jason. Look, Jason, what can I tell you other than if the Niners are smart, they won't score another point. They'll lose this game. They won't play Kittle another down. They won't have Bosa play another down. They won't have Warner play another down. Don't go chasing anything stupid like a win today. Quit playing good football and end the season as fast as possible with the 11th pick in the upcoming draft and go from there. That's what I want to see the 49ers do. That's how I want to see them wrap up today. 49er Red Zone. What up, Bruce? What is up? What is the age demo for these bands? Oh, dude, we're all freaking geezers over here. Come on. All geezers. So if you're a geezer, maybe those bands speak to you as well. All right. You know what? Let's take a look at what we got going on at halftime here. Shall we? Right now, the 49ers have given up 195 yards. So defense came to play a little bit against Arizona. And look at that, 270 with Josh Dobbs leading the way, getting you 6.8 yards per play, 179 in the air, 91 on the ground rushing so far for the 49ers. 6 penalties. I mean, that is just, baked into every single box score that we've seen out of the Niners this year. A penalty-free game out of the Cardinals so far, 6 penalties for 28 yards on the 49ers. Let's see about some individuals here today. Again, Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray runs for 50 yards and a touchdown, he triggers a $750,000 bonus in his contract. He is way off the pace of a 50-yard day right there, and no touchdowns for Kyler at this point in time. Again, Dobbs is off to a pretty nice start, all things considered. 18 of 26, 191 yards, a touchdown, an interception. That interception looked like it came with a little, buffoonery maybe baked into it. And because of that buffoonery, we saw a dust-up between Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jawan Jennings. Both of them have been ejected. Jennings getting ejected before he could reach 1,000 yards as a receiver. So I wonder if that would have triggered some of clauses for him. So that sucks. I can also tell you that Leonard Floyd, with a half of a sack today, with a sack and a half today, would get 10. That would trigger another $500,000 bonus for him. And if he were to get to 12 sacks, if he were about to play like the best game of his entire life with 3.5 sacks, it triggers $1.5 million bonus. So he's already gotten $500,000. With a sack and a half, he can get $2.5 million. With 2.5 sacks, he can get $1 million bonus today. So we'll see if Leonard Floyd doesn't come out here with his hair on fire. I mean, if I'm Leonard Floyd, I basically tell the tackle lining up across from me, hey, let me get 2.5 today, and I'll split it with you. Could you imagine? Oh my God, there'd be an NFL investigation. Reputations would be dragged through the mud. Players would be blackballed from the league. Yeah, man, he was going to split his sack bonus with me if I let him sack my quarterback, so I laid down. Oh, my God, people would go crazy. Benil P says, Patrick Taylor suddenly being a good running back is the most annoying thing of this afternoon. Where was this before? Let's take a look. Where was this before? We got Patrick Taylor, who, 8 carries, 71 yards, 8.9 average, and we didn't see him until today. Maybe that guy would have been able to help throughout the year, right? How Kyle has brought players along, how he has developed them this year, it's been suspect. It really, really has. It has all been suspect from Kyle and company and his coaching staff. I mean, they have taken unimpressive to levels that we didn't even think it would be able to reach in this organization. But they've reached them. It's official. Maximum unimpressive football is where we are, no doubt. By the way, that deserves a
Maximum
This is going to be the last time we're achieving maximum football in a really, really long time. If you want to achieve maximum, hey, that bad boy paid, get yourself to BetUS right now. Use promo code YouTube150 when you sign up and get 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. My man Ike, if you had ordered from Ike's at the beginning of this game, you have a sandwich sitting in front of you right now. Hopefully you live in a place where you can order in Ike's and have it delivered to you. And if you do that, make sure you sign up for that Love Rewards program. You get a free sandwich, prizes with every purchase, and more, and be included in a trip to New Orleans to go see a very large football game that will be happening there. He's got a huge trip to New Orleans prize. Airfare, accommodations, tickets to the game. My man is open now in New Orleans, and a lot of love for New Orleans after what they just went through this past weekend. How horrific. Thankfully, Ike is down there spreading love and sandwiches. We got our friends at the Dubliner, too, in West Portal. Always got love for the Dubliner. Always got a great Guinness waiting for you at the Dubliner in West Portal. And Muni will pick you up and drop you off right out front. You don't have to worry about driving at all. So get yourself to the Dubliner. Thanks to them. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to you. Please hit like and subscribe to this live stream that you're watching right now. It'll help it spread around the old algorithm. What do we got? 227 people watching live right now. Thanks to all of you. You have all chipped in and hit that like button. Thank you very, very much. Again, supers are welcome. Memberships available. And what can I tell you? It's our last watch party of the year because it's the last Niner game until week 1 next year. And we'll do watch parties again next year. Probably not for preseason games. Good Lord. Not to mention a preseason game is a game you got to watch closely. You got to make notes because things are happening. Things are simmering. Things are cooking. This is just trying to get everything off the stove without burning it. That's what today is. This is why the NFL does not need an 18th, a 19th, God forbid, 20th regular season game ever baked into it. Never need that. I don't need these headphones anymore either. Thanks again to Paulie Mack and Tony Ryan for stopping on by. Thanks to all of you for being here today. Really appreciate it. Dobbs is good for one game a season. He is. He is. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if Tanner Mordecai is good for any games in a season, which is why I would have had Tanner Mordecai play today. I know that Josh Dobbs is good for a game or two a year, and asking for more of that puts you into territory you'd rather not be wading into. This is why there was value to be had in today's game. But with any starter who could find themselves injured for next year, it doesn't lie with them. It lies in the unknown. I will say this. I'm glad to have seen Jacob Cowing getting snaps from scrimmage. He has not done much with those snaps, but at least he's getting them. So that's good. Isaac Guerendo hurt early on in this game. That's why we've seen so much of Patrick Taylor Jr. If the 49ers just ran the ball more to set up the pass, it would have done wonders. Not to mention sharing the rushing load. Yay, a maximum football. Don Plus, thank you, Don. I don't understand how Kyle doesn't see added value by using a deeper in-game roster than we've seen really in any. Look, we've only seen one good game all year. It was the Bears game. It's the only game where you can say the 49ers played well for 4 solid quarters. And one of the reasons why it's been so discombobulated all year long is because he has asked too much of too few guys You got to use your depth chart. You know, Jordan Mason was leading the NFL in rushing. Then Christian McCaffrey got healthy and was used so much that Jordan Mason became a forgotten man. Why did Jordan Mason have to be forgotten just to get Christian McCaffrey back on the field? And I know that Mason was also dealing with an injury or a nick or ding or two at this time. But again, Patrick Taylor, you've had him on this team all year. Isaac Guerrero started slow, had a really good November, and then didn't see him for way too long. No, he started slow in September, had a good October, and then we didn't see him in the month of November. Why? It's just too much hot and cold. Too much hot and cold. Now, I don't know if it's, players getting doghouse with Shanahan or Willie Snead being right about saying that Kyle's got his favorites, and if you ain't in his circle of love, you ain't getting snaps and playing time. Maybe that's a part of it. By the way, that looks like it is a strip sack. That ball came out while Dobbs was at the top of his arc right there, came popping out. Patrick Taylor Jr. has fallen on that fumbled ball. Maybe they'll look at it to see if that arm's coming forward or not. No, that's a fumble. Dobbs got absolutely clocked from his blind side. And that was a fumble that Patrick Taylor Jr., unfortunately fell on because, 3rd and 22, that would have been great starting field position for Arizona, who is leading 20-17 right now. I'd like to see 27-17 Arizona. And again, and then Shanahan runs a totally giving up this drive, draw play, inside handoff. Why? Again, you might as well try to pick up a first down. You might as well throw the ball. Maybe you learn something about a young receiver. Again, this whole year just can't end fast enough. Little special teams return here given up by the 49ers. That ball gets to about midfield. Wasn't a bad special teams play, but wasn't a good one either. Yeah, Bosa and Warner are still playing. Why? It just doesn't make sense. Why isn't Debo playing? I don't know. Well, Debo had a little nick or ding or something from last year. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm glad that Debo's not playing because the last thing you would want is to get him hurt and then have no options to explore in this offseason with Debo Samuel. I think that he is coming back, but I'd like the options. Craig Allen says, PSA, Ike is spreading love and sandwiches, not love and sandwiches. N. It's like an ampersand. It's an N. It's Ben and Jerry's. It's not Ben and Jerry's. Love and sandwiches. I think we all know. I think we're good. Is Hufanga playing his last game as a Niner? I don't know. I hope not. I like Talanoa Hufanga. But for the price point and the players that you might have behind him, I could see how he could be a cap casualty given his availability this year and fear of further injury. But I like Hufanga. I do. I mean, if we're sitting around and we're talking about all the problems that the 49ers have had, it's going to be a really, really long time before I get to Talanoa Hufanga. I mean, he hasn't even played most of the year because of his injury status. This is a preseason game. CDE Burrow 1. Yeah. This is a totally meaningless football game. Again, we did the tough guys earlier. There's no such thing as a meaningless football game. All right, Captain Junior Varsity, let me explain what we're doing here. You're coming out of $1 billion business transaction that did not go well. You know you've got a multi-billion-dollar business transaction that is going to be starting week 1 next year. It's time to focus on that transaction and no longer this one. That's what's going on here. If you're just a kid, if you're talking football truisms, yeah, play hard every down, blah, blah, blah. All looks great on a t-shirt, and there's truth to it. This is professional football, which means as a professional, you got to take your feelings out of it. And the feeling that I would have if anybody in this game who needs to be out there in week 1 next year gets hurt, again, the person responsible for that needs to be fired into the sun. And Marty Hall says, Damon, actually, doing preseason games in a live watch party could be interesting to talk and discuss new players, be a mix with a call-in. I don't know. It could be interesting. It could be, but here's the thing. When I'm talking to you, when I'm hosting a live stream, even though I'm watching, I'm not watching half as closely as I really need to be. But we have fun. I don't know if my coverage has improved, but my views have gone up. So, what are we here to do? Joji is ready to begin the tankathon now. Yeah, it's on now. Malik Mustafa, out, knee injury. Talanoa Hufanga, out, concussion. Yeah, I would start inventing mystery concussions all up and down this roster, saying this guy's got to come out, that guy's got to come out. Big throw downfield from Kyler Murray into the end zone. Mooney Ward breaks it up. Nice play by Chivarius. Damon Geppetto says, Kyle called a good half in every game. He couldn't call a full game. No adjustment or too many adjustments. I mean, I can't argue with that. Kyle will have a good half of football and then will put a half of football in front of you that makes you think you're watching a different team. It makes me think that the notion of carrying momentum from a half into a half is a hard thing to bet on these days, much less week to week, much less from the final regular season game of this year to the first regular season game of last year. They will not be carrying any momentum one way or another from this to that. So another reason why I just say get everybody off the field who matters. Has Debo played his final game for the Niners? I don't think so. I think this is one of those situations where Shanahan's dependency on Debo is going to be Debo's best friend during the what should we do with Debo conversation. Shanahan loves the guy. I really don't know why he loves the guy as much as he proclaims to love the guy, but he does. So I think he's back, and I think that Debo can serve this team well in the right role. X or Y starting wide receiver is no longer that role. He's a gadget guy. He's a special teamer. Fact or fiction, Dobb gets benched for Allen. Well, again, if you're going to play Dobbs today, you hopefully give him the whole game just so he can show the league what he's got. But, it makes me wonder, why go to Brandon Allen during the middle of the year when you needed to go to your backup quarterback if Josh Dobbs is the guy you prefer? Again, Shanahan has just been schizophrenic about his own team all year long. Another flag on this play. Can we have no more flags in this game? We're only at 8 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Let's go. Running clock at this fucking thing. Personal foul, face mask, 49ers, undisciplined, blah, blah, blah. Sit Kittle, play Tongas. Yes. Absolutely. Is it Gibson Sr. with the flag? All right, 1st and goal. Let's punch it in here, Arizona. Go Cards. Kyler. Easy. Touchdown. Arizona. Greg Dortch with the reception. There you go. Kyle is down 10. It's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Chow Lore says, I don't understand why Kyle never used Abanaconda. I don't either. Why wouldn't you use him now? Down 10. On the road. Last half of the year in Arizona. You can't get the guy a touch now? Why'd you even sign him? Why'd you even put him on the team? Shit, see if you can kick a field goal. Waffle House says, that was me. Okay, Damon, tell players like Kittle, Warner, this game is meaningless. I'll be here for their responses. Yeah, it's not meaningless to them. That's why you don't even ask them. You take it away from them. You take their helmets and just say, boys, great year. You're both awesome. You're Pro Bowlers. You're fucking studs. We don't need any more from you. We need next year from you. That's a meaningful game. This game means nothing to your careers, to your reputations, to your paychecks, to your prowess, to your status in this league, on this team, to you guys. You're bona fide. We ain't worried about you. Let's play the other players behind you who we don't even have a second tight end on this team. Sauerbert sucks. Tongas doesn't play. Anyone else on this team who's supposed to be the other George Kittle? We don't even know who that is. Use today to maybe find out. Again, and I'm going to tell every single one of these guys, you're a millionaire. Do what I tell you to do. Sit the fuck down and shut up. I mean, come on. But I want to play today. Super duper. It's why you're on the team. We need more guys like that. Not today. Well, for whatever reason, the Cardinals just went for a 2-point attempt, and it was denied. Kyler was tackled, so they wanted to go up 11 instead of 10 on the Niners. Why? Maybe they're explaining it. My volume's not up. And again, we're at the portion of the year where I don't even care. I don't even care what the Cardinals are doing or how this game ends. That's what I remember. How much none of this matters. Allen and Dobbs can't be back in 2025. No, you're not. Neither guy's probably back, to be honest with you. Neither guy's probably back, which is why I wanted to see Tanner Mordecai. This is Vance. It says, Damon, you're the man. Thank you, Vance. Let's be realistic. They're all going to go. They're going to go do this offseason to sign Purdy and do something about the trenches, and I'm happy with that. Yeah, I mean, that's where it starts. Pay Purdy, protect Purdy, get better defensively up front as well, and that's where solutions start to be found. Again, I'll take this terrible year of 49ers football that we've seen, stack it against the last place schedule, and it's in the playoffs. The Niners are 4 or 5 plays away from being in the playoffs. Now, a real contender, they're about to win it all. I don't know about that, but they're like 4 or 5 plays away from being a playoff team right now. That's why this year has been so frustrating. Because as far and away as they have been and looked and has revealed themselves time and time again, they were also this close. This team with a good draft, a smooth offseason, and a last place schedule, it's going to the playoffs next year, I'll tell you that much. I like that. I can get down with that. Jeff says, could you please explain what's going on with Paulie Mack and a YouTube show? Yeah, Jeff. Like me, Paulie used to be on the radio, now isn't. Wants to stay as a broadcaster, so is starting his YouTube channel. It's called Paulie's Particles. Like and subscribe. He and Tony Ryan, who's Creative Tony at KNBR for years, are doing a thing together. And I wish them the very, very best with it. We'll be collaborating an awful lot. Love those guys. So that's what's going on with Paulie's new YouTube show. Paulie's Particles, go subscribe. Postman at Capitola.
Oy, oy, oy!
Always great to see you, brother. Always good to see so many familiar names and faces coming on in here. I guess this is about Debo saying, I actually want to see him back, just used differently. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If he can't separate from man coverage, you cannot be a starting wide receiver. You're another guy who comes in to start exploiting where man coverage starts breaking down or drops into zone or splits against you, or you're the razzle-dazzle gadget guy. $28 million a year is a lot of money for a gadget guy, for a special teams kick and punt returner, but I would ask him to do both of those as well, too, because Debo with a little steam behind him, still a good player. Oh, my God, Jacob Cowing caught a ball from scrimmage and picked up a first down. Jacob Cowing. It took until the second to last quarter of the entire year to see Jacob Cowing do something in the passing game, but I just saw it. Try it again. See what you got. What a concept. We'll toss back to Patrick Taylor, who picks up 5. There's a flag on the play. Somebody tell these refs, put your flags away, dickheads. Trying to get out of here. Bill M., Debo back, especially since Brandon is out. I think so, too. Ayuk's injury is going to do as much to bring back Debo Samuel as any desire to bring back Debo Samuel probably will. Oh, by the way, Jacob Cowing, right after making a catch, holding on Jacob Cowing. Let's see. Holding. Not really. In the world of wide receiver holding, that was nothing. A 10th penalty today for the 49ers against 0 penalties by the always disciplined Arizona Cardinals. Eric Saubert, oh, look, Trent Taylor is in the game. Why did it take to week 18 to see if Trent Taylor can play? When he was signed to be a trusted agent, Trent Taylor is now in the game. How about that? Red Jet, you get a flag, and you get a flag. Everybody gets a flag. Ah! Oprah. By the way, let me just say this. I got Jack and Ozzy. We just had 2 weeks of them being home over Christmas break. It was great. Love the boys, but it's been a lot. Looking forward to them going back to school. One of the things we did was get a couple seasons of Pee-wee's Playhouse. And it's still, it's the show. The kids still love Pee-wee. There's Miss Yvonne has the most amount of cleavage you'll ever see on a Saturday morning kid show for sure. But it was a different time. There's a lot about the Pee-wee show that still holds up. There's plenty that doesn't. But it's still good. It's good fun. The kids love it. There is a Pee-wee Herman Christmas special that will be studied by historians for how random it is. I mean, it's got everything. It's one of the most subversively gay things that has ever been on TV, too. It's incredible. It's got Little Richard in it. It's got Katie Lang in it. It's got, of course, Jambi, his genie in it. It's got Cher in it, in case you're wondering or not. Are they going for a gay crowd or not? It's got Cher in it, for goodness sakes. It's got Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon in it. It's got Oprah in it. It's got Diana Shore in it. It's got some old triplet singing Christmas sisters in it. It's so random. It's incredible. I highly recommend the Pee-wee Herman Christmas special. You're not ready for it. You're not prepared. 49ers penalties, though. Aki. Yeah, we're prepared for those. Those come in bunches. It's like a boxer in the corner of a ring with just a flurry of punches. When the penalties come, they come punches and bunches. Oh, a wide open Kyle Juszczyk scores a meaningless, would have rather not seen it scored touchdown. Hooray! Kyle Juszczyk. Everybody, get him off the team. You're going to get the highest paid fullback in the game and are still a terrible short yardage team. Hooray! Kyle Juszczyk, everybody. I mean, Kyle Juszczyk's most memorable moment of the entire year is when he told Grant Cohn to quit looking at his dick. It's been a terrible year for him. He's on all team. What would you say you do here? First team, all team. What would you say it is you do here? Oh, Jacob Moody even striped one right down the middle. And so the 49ers are only down 2. Because for some reason, the Cardinals went for 2 instead of kicking a point after to put them up 10. Still haven't had that explained to me. Don't really care. Again, I don't care. Yeah, nice touchdown. Nice touchdown. Super. Just lose the game. Trent Taylor, in 2025, are we for real? Yeah, Trent Taylor on the last day. Here's the thing. Think of how many wide receiver problems you had all year. You had him to turn to all year long to see if maybe, just maybe, there might be something there. Never promoted from the practice squad until today. Why? You had special teams problems all year long. Wasn't Trent Taylor brought in to be a little bit of the solution to that? Didn't see him before now. Banjo Monk. This game's too close. Yeah. Game is too close. This is a game that needs to come to an end. I can tell by how few people we've had in here at any one time. I mean, like during normal watch parties, we'll have, 700 to 1,000 people hanging out once we get in the second half. We've been around that 250, 300 mark all day. People are just done with this team in this season. And I don't blame them. It has been an absolute joyless event. The entirety of the 49ers season has been a joyless event. And that's not how football is supposed to be. Like, we're supposed to have fun. And it's just been joyless. They're eating sandwiches. SLLL. I don't what sandwiches? What? Who's got a sandwich? Don't want overtime is why the Cardinals went for 2. So if that is part of it, that is a genius level of coaching we have not seen in the game since Nick Saban retired, since Bill Belichick retired. If you're telling me that this team just ran a play that made no sense because it'll prevent this game going from overtime, I get every single one of their bonuses to kick in. Every single Arizona Cardinals regular season bonus should be eclipsed, right? In that choice alone. God bless them. Greatest franchise in the league. That was a beautiful design to Juszczyk. All jokes aside, where was that all year? Where was that all year, Kyle Shanahan? Isn't that fullback leaking out one of your signatures? I'll jumpstart this offensive play. Didn't really see it until right now. Greg wants to know, is when does Sorensen get fired? I don't think he is going to be fired. And this is a talking point that I do agree with Kruger on, and we'll be back tomorrow. I can promise you that, for a little wake up on a Monday morning. But there's way too much comfort in Santa Clara. Guys who are just comfortable that they're going to be back and they don't need to worry about much, and results really don't matter for them. And I'm not saying Nick Sorensen is one of those guys or feel like he's entitled to that, but there needs to be some uncomfortable around the 49ers. I thought Kyle had an opportunity to create his own, let's make it a little uncomfortable around here with firing Brian Schneider earlier in the year, but he never chose to do it. You know, the minute Devondre Campbell presented himself to be made an example of, they made an example of him. Up until then, they made every excuse in the world to keep a bad player on a football team that made no sense to anyone who'd been watching. You know, they're so comfortable that they're bullshitting themselves at times this season. Brandon Staley needs to go. Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, what did he do that was impressive defensively in LA? The answer is not much. The minute Harbaugh got there, it all got better. The minute he got here, it all got worse. Yeah, I don't need Brandon Staley back. I don't need the 49ers to help Brandon Staley make mortgage payments. Don't need that. Barry coming on in. If Kyle wins this game, I'm looking for my Bears hat. Yeah, seriously, Kyle, do not win this game. I mean, is he pulling all the players out that he needs to pull? I hope he is. Like, I don't want to see Nick Bosa on the line of scrimmage again today. I don't. You know, Leonard Floyd's got all sorts of incentives to play for and is old enough into his career to where this could be his, among his final few paydays. So let Leonard Floyd be your premier defensive end for the remainder of this game. This game is going to end on a Jake Moody field goal. He either win it or lose it. Well, come on, Benal, if he's out there to kick a game-winning field goal, we know that doesn't go through the uprights, which is good. Today's the day you want Jake Moody to be your kicker. Again, he's made his first field goal, which means he has to miss at least 2 more today. He's already missed 1, so there's another one out there for him to miss. Kyler throws up a lollipop to Marvin Harrison Jr., who does not come down with it. It's too bad. I'd like to see a little Geico touchdown right here for Arizona. Get your insurance. Get your Geico. Billy Bong, Billy Bong. Why would you even hire Staley? That's the problem with this team. They hired the guy who did the worst coaching job in history. I hear you, but looking to reclassify someone from you're no longer the head coach to you're back on the side of the ball that you came from, like you can extract some good football out of that sometimes. Didn't happen necessarily this year, but I don't mind the Brandon Staley swing as much as I think I mind the Nick Sorensen swing. I mean, the totally new at it defensive coordinator, when you're trying to return to the Super Bowl, seems a little bit of a bad choice. It felt like a bad choice when it was happening. In hindsight, it looks a little ridiculous, right? In a parallel universe, I would have liked to have seen what Steve Wilkes did in his second season. But Steve had to get scapegoated for, somebody had to go over that Super Bowl, right? Dortch, who is playing his way up next year's fantasy football draft rooms. Fred Warner's still out there making tackles. I'd like to see Fred shut it. Oh, Fred came up with did Fred just hurt his hip? Looks like Fred came up with a little bit of he was grabbing at his hip Still out there. Shouldn't be. Dortch has a couple of touchdowns already in this one. And that is the end of the third quarter. We got one more quarter of 49er football left. And I'm just telling you, we are not going to go do long postgame today. No, sir. No, sirree, Bob. Not today. I think we all know what the story is. The season sucked. Thank God it's over. When's the draft? It's pretty much where we're going as a channel, as a group of people together. That's what's going to be happening. While this game goes to take a quick commercial break, let me once again thank my sponsors, starting with our friends at BetUS. Again, football season might be coming to an end. At least 49er football season is coming to an end, but the playoffs are around the corner. We still got college bowl games to have fun with. We got an NBA season that is ripe for gambling on, and baseball be back before you know it. So check out BetUS. It is offshore, which means if you can lay it, you can play it here in California. Use promo code YouTube150 if you would please, and get 150% off of your sign-up first deposit bonus up to $2,000. Thanks to my man Ike for all that he does to support this channel, for all that he does to make great sandwiches and put them in our lives. Go get yourself a sandwich. Go get yourself a Damon Bruce. Don't I look good as a sandwich? I look delicious as a sandwich. Don't I look good as a mug? Here's Barry Ford showing off that mug. Barry, he looks good in that chain. Thanks to Ike's. Thanks to mug purchasers. Thanks to those who are supporting. Thanks to the Dubliner and West Portal. You don't have to drive to the Dubliner and West Portal. Muni drops you right off out front and will pick you up. Go and say hi to my men at the Dubliner, my boys. Good to see them as always. And I tell you, thanks to them for being incredible sponsors of Damon Bruce Plus as well. We hope we go forward with them in the off season. They've been sponsoring now for a year here on the channel. Memberships available. I see an awful lot of year memberships are coming up because we let them loose around this time last year. So thanks to all of you who are supporting that way. But just by being here, just hitting like and subscribe, that goes a really, really long way to building what we're building over here. And I'm telling you, in the next handful of days, the channel will be eclipsing 10 million lifetime views. Since this channel has started, we will be eclipsing 10 million total views in just another day or two. So thanks to everyone for doing that and being a part of the eyeballs that are making this happen. It means an awful lot. It really, really does. Marty says, you know what, Damon? Thanks to you, buddy. No, seriously. Thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm qualified to do nothing but this. I got no choice to do anything other than this. Thank you for showing up and being a part of it. That's what means an awful lot to me. All right, hold on. I need a little water refill for today's scintillating fourth quarter. There we go. Oh, that ball is around the corner and in the end zone. Touchdown, Michael Carter of the Arizona Cardinals, who are back up 32-24. Now, will they go for two again to try to get this back to 10? Benel says, logged on to Twitter. First tweet I saw, Josh Dobbs QB1. I laughed and logged out. I can't wait for the season to end. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Lowe says, met Damon at Oracle. We talked Hoosier hoops. Good dude. Thank you, Los. No, Lore. Sorry, no, Los. Los D. Cheers. Good old Oracle, man. Do you mean old Oracle Warriors games, or did we meet at a baseball game? I refuse to call that park Oracle Park. That's 24 Willie Mays Plaza. Yeah, I've been dry All dry all day with me, Barry. I'm not just water today. No bottle pulls. Although we did get another super chat right here from Bill M, who says Warner is still in the game and limping. Mean we say any more about Kyle? I mean, seriously, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Having Fred Warner out there in a game that doesn't matter with a hip that isn't great. Oh, it was a Giants game. It was at Pac Bell. There you go. Well, thanks for stopping me. It's the closest I ever get to come to feeling like Mick Jagger when someone comes up to me and says, Damon, I love the show. Listen to the show. Watch the show now on YouTube. It means a lot. So thank you very, very much. Red Jet met Damon at line 51 in Oakland. That was a happy moment for me too, Red Jet. It was great to meet you. We need to get you to more Plus Mania events. By the way, we will be doing another Plus Mania, maybe around the NCAA tournament. Does that sound fun? I think that would be a good time to get together, watch some sports, hang out, stay safe. You know what I mean? I told Larry the next time he does a Pig in the Pickle event, we won't have it on conflicting days and we won't be having competing events against each other. We will unite. By the way, Kruger and I will be reuniting for Wake Up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Even though the 49er season is over, Wake Up has merely just begun. So we will be coming back. We will be getting ready for an NFL draft. We will be getting ready for free agency. We will be getting ready for the coaching carousel to spin, how that affects the 49ers and what that looks like and what this offseason turns into. It's going to be fascinating. It is a huge fork in the road for the San Francisco 49ers. This draft class, this offseason, will either be the offseason that means Kyle and John still have the job 3 years from now, or Kyle and John are gone 2 years from now. This is the offseason where it either gets back to looking like 49ers football again, or it doesn't. And we know what Kyle Shanahan 49er football looks like. And some of you have been very frustrated even when it's looked good. How do you feel now that it looks bad? Do you realize that all that complaining that you did as you were going to the Super Bowl was a little over the top and you should have probably stowed some of that for this season? Again, people are learning. People are learning. And I do agree with you, Red Jet. No matter what happens, it's always a great chat. It's always a great Niner chat. It's always a great chat room. We got great, smart sports fans in this chat, and I'm proud of that. I really am. Lowe says again, Damon, I know you support Kyle, but will he finally self-analyze and change some of his stubborn ways? A hurry-up offense, for example. Lowe, I hope so. I really hope so, because, Kyle has given a few answers that really have concerned me over, the last few days when given an opportunity to admit publicly, like, are you going to be doing anything different? He is like pot committed to, no, I'm not doing anything different. It's going to be the same process over and over again. Like, if you're saying that out loud, just so people don't try to poke holes in you, okay, but I actually think you're inviting more holes being poked in you than if you'd readily admit, it's time for me to evolve a little bit. It's time for me to refigure out the way I figure things. And a new set of eyes on the 49ers, not to trump or govern Kyle, but just another set of respected eyes who can put ideas in his head. I'd love to see it. Hey, Jacob Cowing gets an end around. What do you know? It was a nice little play design, too. Jacob Cowing ran for about 6-7 right there. Nice little play. Haven't seen Jacob Cowing touch the ball much offensively. Anytime it happens, we'll acknowledge that it happened. There you go. Results really weren't there, but nice little design. Debo, take your sunglasses off. It's the old saying, there's only two types of people allowed to wear sunglasses inside. And I know that the roof is open in Arizona today. But I like the saying, only two types of people wear sunglasses inside, the blind and assholes. I don't think he's got a vision problem. And look, I don't even think Debo's an asshole either, but he's acted like one this year. So I'm not here for any preening Debo, nothing. Tuck your tail between your legs, act and walk humble. Maybe we'll see you week 1 next year. And if we don't, you won't really be missed either. Dobbs gets hit as he checks one down right over the middle to Patrick Taylor Jr., who picks up a first down. Again, Patrick Taylor Jr. is playing the kind of game that makes you go, how come we haven't seen this guy at all? Damon, Jimmy G about to lead the Rams to the 3 seed. More jokes on the Niners. This season can't end quick enough. Jimmy G, I don't think he's going to lead the Rams anywhere, but he played today for the Rams. You had Jimmy G playing today. You had Trey Lance playing today. And you had no Brock Purdy playing today. I guess that shows where all 3 men are at in their careers. A year removed from the Super Bowl, Brock is nursing a hurt elbow and not playing in a game that doesn't matter. And 2 guys who are projected long-term starters in this league, Trey Lance, he is climbing his way out of Dallas's depth chart and got a start today. And Jimmy Garoppolo is El backup. What a turn of events. I mean, this league moves quick. No one could deny it that. Jacob Cowing going in extreme curl motion once again. Josh Dobbs taking off, sliding down, picks up about 4-5. Josh Dobbs bringing up a 3rd and manageable. Rawr. Joe, thank you very much for the super. Appreciate it. Patrick Taylor's played multiple games this year. He was just terrible for all those games until now. Look, he's had a grand total of 24 carries, I think, coming into this game. So hasn't really had any time to get any rhythm going in anything. I'm going to put it on Kyle not understanding his own roster. Hey, Conley just caught a pass. It's good to see we're officially at El Scrubini time everywhere. Better be like that on defense when the 49ers come back out. Fred Warner better not be in this damn game. 9:42 remaining in the game. 9:40. Let's go. Tick, tick, tick. Salbert buried as soon as he catches the ball. What was that? A tight end screen? Whoa. Damon, who would you let your wife sleep with between Jimmy G and Gardner Minshew? Well, neither. Thank you very much. But I know she would pick Jimmy G. Jillian got a Garoppolo jersey. That's how much she was into her Prince Eric. So Jimmy would. We got a fumble. Josh Dobbs was stripped as he was being tackled. There's also a flag down on this play, but that ball was out. Josh Dobbs was like looking at it like, I can't believe I just fumbled that. He did. The flag was on Nick Zakel. Obviously be waved off. Josh Dobbs. So you can go back, see if Josh Dobbs is QB1 is still trending on Twitter. Probably shouldn't be. Beautiful little strip sack right there. This is a game that requires a running clock. This is a game that now requires a running clock. Postman, always great to see you, Postman. Thank you for the super. Coaching carousel got another victim today. Mayo out in New England. Looks like Vrabel is the number one choice. How many more openings tomorrow? Pound it, pound it, pound it. How many?
Pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it.
How many more openings will we see tomorrow? It's a good question. That's a good question. Let's see. Mayo being a one and done is something else, right? You know, Saints are looking for a coach. I think the Giants are going to be looking for a coach. I think Dable gets it. Patriots, okay, they just made a choice. Jaguars, definitely. They're going to be looking for a coach. Colts might be looking for a coach. Titans are looking for a coach. Bears are looking for a coach. I guess the real question is what happens with the Cowboys, right? Are the Cowboys really going to bring Mike McCarthy back? If he is, that's going to be a big moment in how the carousel turns, because that Dallas job is obviously a huge one. But yeah, Black Monday is already started. Dun, dun, dun. Hold the Mayo. 4-13. Fired 1 year. It's hardly a commitment. I mean, you knew it was going to be a bad year. You knew that the Patriots were going to come in with pretty much the number one overall pick, right? No active coaches more than 2 10 or more lost seasons. Kyle has 4. How many active coaches have 2 Super Bowl appearances? What's that list? Again, we can hand select a whole bunch of stuff from the buffet that makes us, you know, Kyle sounds like he's great at it. We can hand select and pick from the parts of the buffet that make Kyle seem like a fucking idiot. Yeah, we're not doing hand selected, make a point with this, ignore that, so my point makes more sense. I'm not doing that. I think Kyle is a good coach who had a bad year. This is the last official super chat of our season from me. Happy New Year, D. Bruce and family and all Plusers. Mike, you are generous and you are always a part of what we're doing. And I thank you very, very much. Thank you for being a part of this and supporting this since day one. Really means a lot. Jimmy G with 300s and 2 touchdowns today. Good for Jimmy G. No problem. Damn. Damon swerved me. Thank you, Sarah. Is that a good thing? Vrabel, next man up for the Patriots? Probably. Jackie D, bring Jimmy home. No. Hey, bring Jimmy home to New England. Isn't that his original home? Bring Jimmy home to New England. By the way, the most important thing about this defensive possession, Uncle Dame, like and sub, thank you very much. Your no solote oles. I appreciate that. But yeah, the most important part of what we're looking at right now is right here. Benally P, you're right. Warner is out of the game. Everybody cheer. That's good. Fred Warner does not need to be in this game anymore. Bring back Uncle Bill. No, come on. He's Chapel Hill now. North Carolina bleeds Tar Heel blue. So does Bill Belichick. So he's not going anywhere. Come on, Friday says, do any of you really believe Kyle will fire Sorensen? I don't. I don't either. Chris wants to know next season, over or under 8 wins? Over. You're going to have a last place schedule. Have a good draft. Improve this offensive line. Have a good draft. Improve that defensive line. Have a normal offseason. Go to the playoffs with the last place schedule. Next year is if you're not back into the playoffs, you're officially on a hot seat, Kyle. You're probably fired after a last place schedule is served up to the 49ers. So, yeah, not 8. 8 wins, over, without a doubt. Oh, Mary said to stuff this in the jar for your beautiful wife. Jill, Happy New Year to you both. Barry, again, thank you so very much. To you, Mary, the entire city of Memphis. Grizzlies got beat. The other night by the Warriors. We're going to have to start talking a lot of Warriors basketball soon, so brace yourselves. By the way, that's not much fun right now. At least we got Giants baseball around the corner. Oh, never mind. Better go 13-4 next year. House Pelly. Let's just start with answering the over under 8 with an over. We'll worry about going from 10 to 12 to 13 wins once you're at 10 wins. I'm offended by you swerving my super beta busta. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to offend you, Sarah. We will have no beta males. We will have no beta football journalists accepted or ever brought into the circle of love here on this channel. I can promise you that. Damon, what do you think of Pearsall now? Hey, he's had a good game today again. That's back-to-back good games. 2 good games in 1 rookie year does not mean I'm ready to sing your praises. But Ricky Pearsall has had a couple of good weeks. And that's what you want out of a rookie. Have a good game and then stack another one on top of it. Stack another one on top of it. Ricky today, 3 catches, 48 yards, and a touchdown. You know, hardly a prolific performance. But he's got a backup quarterback. I got no problem with it. Hey, McKivitz is now walking off the field hurt. Hey, say whatever you want about Colton McKivitz. Do or do not like him. That is your starting right tackle. And looks like he's hurt now. Colton McKivitz is hurt. So that happened today too, everybody. Yay. The only silver lining to this offseason is to watch Celebrini and the other baby sharks develop at the tank in San Jose. Yeah, man, I got to get down to a Sharks game. I really do. I want to see Celebrini in person. I've watched a couple of games. There's no way I've watched a total hockey game yet, but I've dipped into about, a period here, 10 minutes of ice time there. I've caught a little Sharks hockey. It's equal parts unwatchable and maybe becoming a little bit more interesting because of Celebrini right now. They were really bad in the beginning of the year, a little less bad now. That's how you got to do. You got to develop. The good news is we only have 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this season. Oh, my God. And Josh Dobbs threw another interception. This one is a pick 6. And is Josh Dobbs still QB1? QB1 Josh Dobbs? Dobbs greater sign than Brock Purdy? If you found anybody who typed that today on Twitter, I need you to unfollow that person immediately. What you're doing is allowing someone who has no idea what they're looking at or talking about help you form your own opinion. You don't want that. Look, I'm not going to tell you that you have to feel a certain way to watch this channel. But when you're just dumb fuck so galactically wrong about something, I will bring that up. And anyone who has ever said something as provably, undeniably stupid, like Josh Dobbs is a better NFL quarterback than Brock Purdy, should be disinvited from your sports journalism pleasures for the remainder of your life. Like, I have no idea. Like, if Larry Krueger ever said that and believed it, I don't think we could do Wake Up Together anymore. I'm just, Larry, sorry, we live in two different universes. Larry would never say that. Only a moron. Only someone with an anti-Brock Purdy agenda would say something as stupid as Josh Dobbs is better than Brock Purdy. By the way, that is an interception, I think. It looks like he controlled the ball. That ball went right through Ricky Pearsall, by the way. A very catchable ball by Pearsall was not caught, creating this. They're now reviewing whether or not it's an interception. Let the interception stand. I mean, it's pretty damn close. I can't tell if that bounced on his hands or the turf, and I don't care. And there's 6 minutes remaining in this season with two teams going nowhere. So just play football. Just go. Yeah, 40 burger hung on this. Sorensen gone. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Don't like it. I wouldn't bring him back, but who will you bring back? You know, if you're telling me that Robert Saleh wants to come on back, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Do that immediately. Farewell to the 2024 season, to 2025, all hunkered down for the crazy ice snowstorm hitting Tennessee. Going to miss football so much. P.S. Money Brock. Sarah, sorry you're being bombarded with some serious cold weather there. Most of the country's in a deep freeze right now. It's a little chilly in San Francisco, but we won't see any snow that isn't a pile of cocaine in this city. All I can say is that my Hoosiers appointed themselves better than the Tennessee Volunteers did in Columbus. Can't help but notice that. Are they still the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to college football? I hope not. Sarah, you've been awesome to get to know this chat. This year, you have made your presence felt here, and you are a part of the family, Sarah. So thank you so much. Thank you very much for the super. Again, Mike, last official from the super. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that. Mary. Oh, we already got all this stuff. Oh, and this is why Sarah was saying I was offended. You swerved past my super beta bust. There it is. Now we got we got it in. Hopefully we got it in there and that you saw it, Sarah. Rob, again, being a Sharks fan is true suffering. Yes, there is some suffering associated with all Bay Area sports these days. Rita Thomas, 49ers just announced that Jake Moody and Jake Moody jerseys are half off. Ray Wershing is tanned, fit, and ready. It'd be funny if all of the Jake Moody jerseys were taken off of their hangers and just thrown to the left of the rack. Like, couldn't quite hit the rack, but there they are. All right, come on, 5:52. We just had 6:20 on the clock. What are we doing? Arizona, please run the football. Kill some clock, all right? Don't throw it again, Kyler. Don't throw it again, or at least catch it. Touchdown, Marvin Harrison Jr. This is going to be an ugly, ugly day. An ugly, ugly day. Marvin Harrison Jr. burning Mooney Ward. I think we're seeing Mooney Ward play his last game with the 49ers today. But Rita, thank you. Sarah, thank you. Barry, Mike, Rob, thank you all for the supers. Don't want to miss them. Damon, you going to join Larry on mock draft shows that can officially join tomorrow? I'm guaranteeing you our first mocks are going to hit the air during wake up at 9 a.m. starting on Monday morning. But yes, we will be covering the draft. We will be getting into it in deep ways. What else we got? Obviously, I don't want to just be pigeonholed as a 49er content creator, but there's no amount of talking about Steph and the Warriors or the Giants or anything else that happens in sports that carries level of interest like the NFL has. So the NFL not playing games is officially more interesting to the YouTube algorithm than the NBA playing games or baseball playing games. It's amazing. This league runs all media. It really does. Which, I mean, let me just bring this up. I mean, this is all you need to know. The 100 most watched U.S. broadcasts last year, 70 of them are NFL games. You've got a handful of political contests, debates, conventions, whatever. We had election coverage. So we have politics cracking into the top 100 on several occasions. The only other things that have cracked are a couple nights of the Olympics, one night of the World Series, the women's NCAA championship game, which is amazing. The men don't make it anymore, but the women did. If you would have ever said the women will have more viewers of their championship game than the men, I would have said, no way, not in my lifetime. That has happened. The Oscars and the Grammys are the only two things. If not for football, linear television wouldn't even exist as we know it. It's really amazing. Truly, truly amazing. Thanks again to our sponsors. Thanks again for making it all happen. Our good friends at BetUS. Go right now to BetUS, and when you use promo code YouTube150, you get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Start playing today, because even though gambling on the Niners has come to an end, there's still an awful lot of plays to be made out there across the sports world, for sure. There's only one sandwich that I think about all the time, and it's a sandwich from Ike's. And no, it's not just my sandwich. I think about, what sandwich am I going to get from Ike's next? Is it going to be an Adam Richmond? Is it going to be a Backstabber? Is it going to be a Jamie Sirewich? Is it going to be another Damon Bruce? I've had a few of those in my days. Get yourself to Ike's. I hope you live near one. If you don't, it's time to move. If we're being completely honest about it, it is time to move and get yourself moving on Muni to the Dubliner in West Portal. Get yourself a Guinness from Kenny and John. They're going to pour it right. One of the best bars in the city of San Francisco, the Dubliner West Portal. Love hanging out there. Love the guys at the Dubliner. Thanks to them for supporting what we're doing over here. Over 300 people in the room right now. The anger, the fans, they start to come in late in the show. Another penalty on the 49ers. I mean, of course. Why stop now? Josh Dobbs throwing like he's going to make up a 16-point deficit in the final 5:15 of a running game clock. Just don't stop the clock. Oh, now Shanahan's got a hurry-up offense. Oh, okay. Josh Dobbs, just complete passes, baby. Keep that clock ticking. Under 5 minutes. Can't get to the 2-minute warning fast enough. Oh, they're going over their Brock Purdy graphics. Look how good he was over here. Look how bad he is now. Make sure you say all of his wide receivers sucked all year long. Another flag. Another flag. What's the last thing this game needs? How about another flag? Hey, it's Jake Moody. Say hello to your 2025 kicker. Jake, good to see you. Save your money, Jake. I think you might need it. Thank you for the super chat. But I just don't see how this team can bring back Josh Moody at all. Or Jake Moody. Or Josh Moody. Or Moses Moody. Or the Moody Blues. Or mood rings. Just time to get rid of all moods. Bad moods, good moods, got to go. Hey, Ricky Pearsall, little screen to him, doesn't go for much. Tick, tick, tick. Thank you, Jake Moody. All right. Still throwing the ball. Josh Dobbs really does want to throw one more interception today. You can feel it. You can feel it kind of coming, can't you? He's already thrown 2. Feels like there will be one here in this final possession. As a matter of fact, if I were doing some live wagering, I would wager that there's a better chance that Josh Dobbs throws a pick here than leads the Niners to a closing the distance on the scoreboard level score here. Third and 4. Dobbs, play of the year. Incomplete. Yeah. Once again, just asking for Kyle to run the ball, but for very different reasons than normal. Yeah, seriously. Just run the ball. Come on, Friday. Now everything will be centered around draft and Purdy contract watch. 20% of the fan base and continue to scream their heads off that he's not Joe Montana, so don't play him. Yeah, that's going to happen. Let's watch this 4th down together, shall we? Let's survive this 4th down. What's going to happen? Do the 49ers survive it? Oh, Dobbs is already running in the wrong direction. Oh, he already shook out of a tackle, got out of an arm, incomplete pass, and the 49ers offense will hopefully not touch the ball again this season. Come on down and kill 4 minutes of clock, Arizona. Kill 4 minutes of clock. Black Sabbath. Just horns up. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. You want that 11th pick. I agree. You know, is there a big difference between picking 11th or 13th? Yeah, there is. That's two big differences, if you ask me. So I want the best draft pick that you can get at this point in time in the year. We even got Kyler Murray out of the game now. Arizona going for 47. Oh, man, dude, let it be their Super Bowl. Go for 47. That way, maybe Nick Sorensen really can get let go. Me and Fred Warner, the 3rd rounders, were equals. Jake, thank you again for those $2. You know, I appreciate it. Save your money, buddy. I hope you rented and you didn't buy out here in the Bay Area, Jake. NB says, call Rand Carthon, see what he wants for that number 1 pick. What? No, the Niners don't need the number 1 pick. No. Don't need a number 1. Number 11 is great. I'd trade back. Damon acting like the 49ers are trying to stop the run. Oh, come on. They've been stopping the run all year, right? No. 3rd and 5. Oh, come on. Fight for that 1st down. Fight for that 1st down. Oh, I think he's going to come up a little bit short. Hell of an effort, though. 3-7. Tony Jones Jr. Just Warden. Rocky sent off. Dropped like 2 stiff arm jabs on him. It's pretty impressive, actually. That's an angry run. 4th and 1. Go for it. 4th and 1. Go for it. We're at the 2-minute warning. I've never been this excited about anything in my entire life. Mick YD says they can blow it no matter where they pick. True. There's no doubt about it. Drafting is an inexact science. They actually had a pretty good draft last year. Put another good draft on top of that draft. Start building a new nucleus. Next year, just because it's the way Father Time works, this team needs to be less about Kittle and Warner and Bosa and more about Lenore and Pooney and Malik Mustafa and Ricky Pearsall and Isaac Guerrero and this year's draft class. That's what the youth movement needs to come in. Arizona's going for 49. That's why they went for 2 earlier. Either year, whether it's to avoid overtime, whether it's to put 49 on the 49ers, I don't even care. Just get these next 2 minutes off the clock as fast as humanly possible. And I want to remind you that we are going to be back to normal broadcasts. Now that the New Year's and the holidays are over and the kids are going back to school, Larry Krueger and I, 9 a.m. Monday morning, 9 a.m. Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Friday morning, streamed on both of our channels. We will have Wake Up For You. I will be doing my live shows at 11 a.m. West Coast time. And I will also be carving out more time this year for more videos. If there's one data point that keeps on being returned to me by the algorithm, by YouTube users and content creators who are advising me, they keep on saying, Damon, remember, this is not radio. This is not about broadcasting live as much as it is just making that great 8-minute video. So we will be concentrating more on videos than live shows, but we will still be doing live shows. I can promise you that. I'm too much of an actual broadcaster at heart to just give up on live shows. Barry Ford coming on in. We gone, 49ers. Holla at your boy, Plusers. Yeah, thank you, Barry. Thank you for everything. Thanks to you. Thanks to Mary. Thanks to good people in Memphis for keeping it real. We got a 4th and 1, a sneak, and it is just kill clock time. We got coaches unstrapping themselves from their headsets. There it is. The Niners are going to call a timeout. Really? We're going to do this, San Francisco? We're going to play this timeout bullshit? You're down 16? When you're down 16 in week 18, you should have no more timeouts to call. Good Lord. Anthony Lickscorpion says, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. The cookie has crumbled. It wasn't even a good cookie. It wasn't even a cookie that you wanted. It was just some lousy sugar cookie. Oh, my God. And the 49ers are going to give a run right up the middle. You know what? He thought about going down, but Tony Jones Jr. is like, nah, I'm housing this thing. Why not? What a pathetic moment of defense right there. I mean, the fact that Kyle Shanahan called a timeout and then got that on his next play is all you need to know about the universe and karma saying that's what you get for calling a timeout here, you prick. Timeout. Good God. And like that, they're gone. Bill, yeah, they certainly are. They certainly are. Well, now they probably regret not getting that 2-point because they would have had 49. 47-24. Fire everybody. Ready for some stress-free Sundays until September? Me too, MKG. Jillian is very much looking forward to getting normal Sundays back and not having to extract the kids from a location for 5 hours. Wow. I mean, if that is the last snap of the 49ers defensive season, what a pathetic defensive snap that is. It's just Jordan Elliott just getting trucked. Jair Brown whiffing on an arm tackle. Rock Ya-Sin doing absolutely nothing. Look at Jair Brown. What is that? Tackling from the beginning of this year to the end of this year. Terrible. Terrible. Yeah, come on Friday. That was a snapshot of the defense all year long. Everything you needed to know about the 49ers season was just revealed in that sequence. You've got a huge conversion from the other team. You got Kyle calling the phoniest watch me coach timeout of all time, followed immediately by a defensive breakdown of the first degree that results in a rushing touchdown. That is everything you need to know about the 49ers season. That is the opening point I'm making on Wake Up Tomorrow. Everything you need to know about the 49ers could be revealed in what happened after Arizona went for it on 4th and 1. Arizona converts their huge down. The 49ers then embarrass themselves, call the most bullshit, phoniest, look at me, I know what I'm doing timeout ever, and then get housed. Mwah. Couldn't have ended it better. I guess the good news is that there are no severe injuries today, although we cannot guarantee you because Isaac Guerendo was carted off with a knee ankle, and I still don't know the details of that. So we'll keep an eye on Isaac Guerendo's injury status for sure. We'll see what we learn of Fred Warner's hip that was bothering him. But this was a game to be forgotten, a season to be forgotten. I swear to God, if you put the ball in the air here, Kyle, just run the fucking ball. Thank you very much. Hey, Patrick Taylor Jr. over 100 yards today. Patrick Taylor Jr. is your bright spot of the day, a guy who was not involved in a single game plan all year long, 17 carries, 109 yards, and I'm sure we wouldn't even have seen him today had Isaac Guerendo not gotten hurt earlier in this game. So, maybe there's an NFL player to mine something out of there. Maybe there wasn't Tanner Mordecai. We'll never know because we needed Josh Dobbs to have all these meaningless snaps at the end of a meaningless game. Oh, now the Niners are going to victory formation. I don't know if I've seen that the losing team just takes a knee to start that clock and get it over with. The Niners had, if every snap matters. I guess that one didn't. A terrible football season has come to an end, my friends. A terrible football season. Thanks again to Ike's for all the sponsorship support. Thanks to BetUS. Thanks to the Dubliner. Thanks to all of you. Like and subscribe. Our biggest audience of the day has reached the channel now. Where were you the last 4 hours? Good God, it has not been any fun around here. Actually, I think we've had more fun than anyone who actually had to watch this game today and concentrate on it. So thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for watching this. Let's go over some stats, shall we? Let's take a look at how today went. It was not a good day for 49ers. Kyler Murray, 242 yards in a 4-touchdown afternoon for Kyler Murray. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks for Josh Dobbs, who actually threw for 326. Impressive. Again, if you're telling me that Kyle Shanahan can get 326 yards out of anybody, then don't bring Brock Purdy back for $60 million. Play Tanner Mordecai in the final 2 weeks of the year and go with him. Oh, no, wait a minute. Guess that can't happen. Patrick Taylor Jr., didn't even see him until today. 100-yard day. Joshua Dobbs, 8 carries, 17 yards. Nothing really there. Did see a carry out of Jacob Cowing, and we saw snaps from Cowing from the line of scrimmage. He had 2 catches for 30 yards today. Ricky Pearsall finishes with 6 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown, stacking a good game on top of a good game. First time Ricky's had good back-to-back weeks, and that's a good way to finish what has been a very turbulent rookie year for Ricky Pearsall. Juwan Jennings, 7 catches, 52 yards, ejected in this game today. George Kittle, 2 catches, 27 yards. Shouldn't have even been asked to do that. That is just absolute buffoonery, risking George Kittle injury in any way, shape, or form. But here we are. Fred Warner finishes as your leading tackler. D. Winters, Talanoa Hufanga right there. We needed Leonard Floyd to get a sack and a half to trigger a $500,000 bonus. Leonard had no sacks today. Renardo Green, 3 pass deflections. That jumps out as another positive note. What are you taking out of this season that is a positive note? Renardo Green's play, especially in the second half of this year. Impressive. I like Renardo Green. I like Dominic Pooney. I like Malik Mustafa. I am really starting to like Isaac Guerrero. I'm starting to like Ricky Pearsall. I mean, that's 5 rookies. 5 rookies that I think all play big roles next year. How many rookies from their upcoming draft class will be real game changers? It's hard to bet on any of them. And we all know that any offensive rookie that gets drafted, Kyle Shanahan is just going to hate for no reason at all. Kyle hates rookies. But he's going to have to get that I hate rookie taste out of his mouth, because he's going to need to depend on them more than he even probably wants to admit. Let's go ahead and take a look at some team stats here today. Again, the most concerning number right here. 13 penalties. You didn't play a cavalcade of nothing but backups. 13 penalties still. A sloppy game out of the 49ers. Only 1 penalty out of the Arizona Cardinals. 138 rushing yards. That's a good day. 151 given up. No good. Again, they held Josh Dobbs. They outscored. They out yarded. I'm telling you, points have been a problem all year. Yards have not been. They put up nearly 40 more yards than Arizona did, and it felt like Arizona had the ball all day. Didn't. Again, what am I even bothering looking at the box score? Let's make a deal with each other. Let's make a deal with each other right now. Let's not talk about this one ever again. And when I say this one ever again, I mean the whole season, basically. We'll be recapping it a little throughout the week, obviously, but let's spend very little time doing the autopsy, because I think we all know why this patient died this year. Wide receivers forgot how to run fast all at once. Injuries everywhere. The wrong defensive coordinator and think tank in Brandon Staley and Nick Sorensen were brought in. Special teams literally could not have been worse, almost by the game. Today's game included. Fake punt run against them that picked up a first down. Moody was a mess. 20 touchdowns from last season vanished in Christian McCaffrey. And this was, again, the Niners, like, I know why they were 6-10. Excuse me. Did I say 6-10? I meant 6-11, baby. I know why the Niners are 6-10. I think you know why the Niners are 6-10. Anyone who wants to just say that the Niners are 6-10 because Kyle sucks and Brock sucks has no clue what the fuck just happened through 18 weeks of football. Were Kyle and Brock great this year? By no stretch of the imagination. Not at all. But this entire year was lost on the line of scrimmage. Not in the coach's office, not in the quarterback's room. This entire year was lost because what used to be a group of wide receivers that gave the league pause became the most limp-wristed group of pussies you could find. The Niners got nothing out of their wide receivers not named Juwan Jennings. That's it. Juwan Jennings showed up to play. George Kittle showed up to play. That's the offensive showed up to play list right there. Jordan Mason showed up to play when he could. And that's your list. Not enough guys delivered when they were needed. Anyone who wants to say it's just the coach and the quarterback, you're morons. This was full football team failure all year. And if you only want to concentrate on 2 guys, you go right ahead. You've identified yourself as someone to talk sports less with, and I appreciate that. Let me know where you stand. Like, seriously, if you love the show, great. Let me know all about it. If you hate the show, great. Let me know all about that too. I want to know where you stand. That way I know who I'm dealing with. What I don't like are fake people who walk around and talk shit behind people's backs. I think Brock is pretty damn good. I think Kyle is pretty damn good. I think the two of them had pretty underwhelming seasons on a team that was so committed to be underwhelming all year long that they never decided to take their foot off the let's underwhelm you pedal. There was one good football game that the 49ers played, full four-quarter football game, and it was against the dreadful Chicago Bears. That's it. The 49ers played one good game all year. Rob C. Always a pleasure, Rob. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your support. More Sports Bane. And offer Ray the mask. If I could give Ray the mask, maybe that would bring him in here. Sports Bane. I think we might have to hear from him this week to recap the year. Damon, thank you for the season watch parties. Enjoyed them. Jason 120378. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I did too. Thank you very much for watching. Again, there's no reason to keep on kicking the can down the road. We know what happened this year. This year sucked this year. All this year. Sports fan, love the show, hated our season. Fire Schneider, fire Sorensen, draft your ass off Kyle and John, or you're likely fired next year. Yup. Yeah, that's about it. Everything that you just wrote, I kind of agree with. There it is. We will be doing live shows next year. I promise you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And one last time, let me just say thank you to my sponsors. Could not do this without them. Our live stream today brought to you by BetUS. Again, real simple. Use promo code YouTube150 when you sign up, and you will start saving on your first deposit up to $2,000. Go ahead and do that. And as always, gamble responsibly and carefully and never outside your means. I do want you to start eating outside of your calorie count, though, at Ike's. You'll be happy that you did. It's a great place to be a fat boy. And if you don't want to be a fat boy, you don't have to be. He's got more vegan, vegetarian, and healthy options than most restaurants carry. Check out Ike's. The most delicious sandwich you're going to run into is waiting for you at Ike's. Hopefully you live around one or one is coming near you soon, and sign up for that Ike Love Rewards program as well. Thank you so much to our friends at the Dubliner in West Portal. We'll be doing Plus Manias from there. We'll be hanging out there. Looking forward to all of that. I love the Dubliner guys, whether they continue to be sponsors or not. I love the Dubliner. I love those guys. We're in. Thanks to all of you for liking, subscribing, for you members, for you super chatters. It means the world. It's how we're getting things done around here these days. So thank you. We're going to go over 10 million views, probably by Wednesday, in the lifetime of this channel. I haven't done anything 10 million times. 10 million breaths, maybe. 10 million heartbeats. Maybe. 10 million views. I'm very, very proud of that. I am. Thanks to my good friends Carl and Matt, who helped me with this channel. Thank you to my wife, Jillian, whose help and support have just meant the world. My in-laws have come to watch the boys on more than one of the shows that we've done together as watch parties. So thanks to Tom and Liz as well. And, I mean it. I'm very, very flattered to have a group of people like you coming on back to hang out with a guy like me. I really am. So thank you. This is from Rob, our final super chats here, saying, now that the season is over, Kyle's officially on the hot seat. Yeah, I'll join you there. You got a last place schedule next year and a quarterback that you're about to pay handsomely. So that means we'll see you in the playoffs, or we'll see you in a moving truck. It is like that for Kyle next year. I would agree with you there. This is from Douglas Greenberg. Thanks, Damon. We'll keep following your commentary through the offseason. Will you do that by liking and subscribing? And thank you to all of you. Thank you very, very much. There will be plenty on the Niners. There will be plenty on the college basketball season, on the Warriors season. My God, it's more than just football interests me. So I think we need to do some videos about cheeseburgers, because I know about as much about cheeseburgers in this town and ones that you need to try and eat. Go and get yourself a cheeseburger at Ike's Mission Rock. You'll be happy that you did. You're awesome. You're awesome people. You're awesome fans. Please don't be the type of fan who just says, oh, it's Kyle, it's Brock, and that's it. No, just stop being that person. If you are that person, stop being that person. There are so many moving pieces to this failure of a season. To try to just put it on two guys is ridiculous, especially when those two guys are probably among the two most qualified to dig you out of this fucking hellhole that you've been in all year. John Lynch, hit your picks. Kyle, go on a long vacation. Rejuvenate yourself. You've looked exhausted all year long. Every single player, skip your end of the year meeting. Just everyone disperse. Go your own separate ways right now. See it minicamp. See it rookie and veterans minicamp. Everyone needs a break from each other. These guys have played an extra season of playoff football since 2019. Everyone take a little break. And we, coming back from break, will be right back to our normal schedule starting on Monday with yours truly and Larry Krueger, 9 a.m. Wake up on both of our channels. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of today's show or any of the live stream watch parties that we've had. Thank you for all the views, whether it be a video, a short, a live stream. It all goes into the pot. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you for stuffing the ganja jar so generously throughout the year. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.